Game
So
start
far, it
हुए
looks
मेरो
like
लाइव
Primorsk
स्टार्ट
is
आयो मेरो
all
लाइव आयो अब
to
चाहिँ लाइभ आयो हैन
X-Force's liking. They're able to basically take this whole section down here, Ferry Pier, Primorsk, get all of that covered. But I am really curious to see where will that first zone go. VIP has abandoned. Yes, we get the Millie zone. Let's go. But VIP, they have abandoned Milta. They're not going to battle Team Liquid there, and now I'm liking my pick that much more, so teams can focus today on looting up, and I gotta tip the cap to VIP Esports because this is a team through this split as well as last that quite simply did not have winning strategies, but they never changed them. They kept forcing the same thing even though it was not working, so I gotta say, I like the adjustments early on in day 2 here. We'll see if it pays off for them, 7.
I'm hoping it ends up paying off. Remember, with VIP as well, that was a squad that for some reason yesterday, whenever the playing pad would allow it, they ended up going Sarky as well. It didn't play off for them, and now they're fully taking charge of Noble. And right now, with this playing path, with this circle as well, it should end up paying off. And Team Liquid will end up rotating late towards military base. And on top of that, you have to worry a little bit here, Enigma, because there's somebody already over there, and it's going to be none other than United for Gaming.
Yeah, and United for Gaming, for the most part, that was actually the drop that Team Liquid used to do at Nova.
खै लाइभमा म देखेन भनेको देखेन आएन लाइभ
To the north side for the most part, but Team Liquid, of course, understanding what kind of spot they're willing to play here. United for Gaming potentially taking a bit slower of a rotation into the circle, but another team as well that's actually already rotated down south onto the island's going to be 9Z Globant, trying to do a little bit of that trash looting, that sort of, I guess you could say, piggybacking around the compounds, looking for those spots on the map. And you see it now as well, actually, a early contest on down south.
लाइभ
Team Liquid onto the United for Gaming solo. And I actually like this play from United for Gaming. Your team
लाइभ
all
हानिसक्यो
the
तर
way up
मेरो
north. You don't
वेबक्याम
know
आएन
where the rest of
वेबक्याम
Team
आएन
Liquid
मेरो
is, but my worrisome question right now, PB, is going to be, are you actually even
त्यस्तै लाग्यो कहाँ पुगे केटाहरु
Different. You can see 9Z, United 4 Gaming.
कहाँ पुगे
United 4
केटाहरु
dropped in military base, but no one else did, right? We saw Team Liquid, we saw Wolves, we saw 9Z, Royals of War, all make their way south to get that
कहाँ पुगे
position
भने
early because you guys know as well as I do, those bridges are going to be a death trap a bit later on in this game because clearly Circle will be going south. Watch this be the hardest shift ever when it goes back north. But, you know, it's a 90% chance right now that the zone will go south. So I love the early rotations from some of these teams. We even see the boat take coming into play from X-Force going to try to land on that west coast. The crazy thing, 7, is when they land, 9Z might be waiting for them.
425
Yeah, and the crazy thing for this squad too is last season, one thing that we ended up seeing a lot out of X-Force whenever they end up doing this kind of rotations towards Military Island was the gliders. If I remember correctly, I think it used to be Fate taking the glider and just being able to scout for the squad. Now with this one, it's going to be a lot less scouting. You mentioned it correctly. It could be 9C, it could be Team Liquid, or they could end up just scouting a little bit more and getting lucky and getting just a free rotation towards Military Island. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, a team that's going to get a free rotation going into the main island could end up in Loops Esports, or could they possibly be setting up a trap here? Enigma, and waiting to see which teams are going to be going towards the western bridge.
I feel they're going to wait a circle or two. There's no reason to rush going all the way down south because we have seen some of these circles pull up towards the bridge like you want to see 7 Worlds. These other squads desperately kind of send themselves up all the way to the dead center of the circle just for it to pull off of them slowly, forcing them to use all their utility during that mid game. But a lot of these squads still kind of out into the blue zone. I'm looking at the top sort of north side of the map. Influence, Rage, Resilience, Inco Gaming as well, even all still out in their essential drop spots, not really making their rotations just yet. But coming back to Loops, it does look like they're going to be camping this glass house. A lot of the pro players like to call it as well. It's just waiting for some of these other squads, and it's kind of this vicious cycle, I feel, Powerbang. When it comes to these teams, they camp the bridges, people start rotating the water, and then they just start camping each other, and it comes back and forth. But we'll have to wait and see, because it looks like X-Force now taking the engagement on the Team Liquid.
They rolled up to the beach, made the landing at the dock, got out, and 2 Team Liquid players are waiting for them. Somehow, Chief able to survive that onslaught by Alim, and it is looking for reinforcements right now. If Alim and the squad don't get this little beachhead established, X-Force is in trouble here, because you can see TL rotating over, getting those reinforcements. Fate, though, takes the high ground. His position will be crucial here, and now 24K goes down. Fate's going to have to pull something seriously clutch.
And Fate might be able to, especially with this prone angle that he has. He's going to be able to slow down some of the players. Halim's going to be able to connect with one. Can he connect with the other one? Fate not actually connecting with any of the other squads. And now it's going to come down to Fate here. And he's going to have to worry about the rest of the players here from Team Liquid. One player is down, but there you go. There's just too many eyes on him. Fate and this squad goes down. This is one of the biggest worries that you had, PB, and that I was mentioning too. Zero, absolutely zero scouting from this squad in comparison to what they were used to doing in the past during spring split with the gliders. It ends up hurting them. One thing I do want to highlight, and I kind of wanted to mention before that fight, was VIP. I'm really impressed with the way VIP was able to rotate so quickly out of Novo and go straight to the south. They saw at one point Team Liquid starting to spread their wings, and they say, no, we want to be able to hold this compound there towards the south. Now they're going to be in a great position moving on towards the next circle, especially PB if it starts going south even more.
That's a great call out. And I misspoke earlier on VIP. They were a team that typically drops up as Zarky next to Alpha 7, but the point remains is like they have also adjusted their typical strategy, rotating awfully quickly, which is not their hallmark. So happy to see that, and hopefully it pays dividends for them. They've got a great position in the zone right now. You know, when we take a peek at the map here in just a moment, it is going to be very interesting. Everyone's starting to make their way across. You've got Loops camping out IG on one bridge, and you've got Alpha 7 about to take on Influence Rage at the other. Look at these matchups right here. These are the big dogs of the lobby, and they're both about to come into those choke points, and this is why it pays so much to rotate early when you have a zone like this. So the VIPs of the world, the Liquids of the world, they don't have to worry about getting through those choke points. So I'm excited to see things start to pop off here as Alpha 7 draws first blood.
Yeah, but I'm looking as well as just that eastern side. SON camping just this southern part of the bridge, as well as Jaguar coming in from the north side. So it's never just this 4v4 as much as Alpha 7 would like to think it is. There is that potential for the third party. But the difference being, if you're the first place squad here, 7, you're taking these engagements and you're trying to get these thirsts as soon as possible. Do not allow these other teams to get the resets, and when they get the revives going, you understand there's 2 players close there now. We actually see Alpha 7 going for a huge kind of spread around the compound, kind of pigeon-holding Influence Rage into the compound, but it's always a matter of time, right? Can they actually get these eliminations under their belt, or will the blue zone start taking away at them? Diego on the roof, but this is more of a standstill now, so I'm not sure how long you're willing to commit here.
A lot of breathing room for this squad. So I think this is why they're with this fight here. Also, Alpha 7 did end up seeing SON cross that bridge. They were expecting a bit of a bridge camp too, so they're wanting to take this fight. They don't want to have another team to worry about. But the thing is, with this stalling that they're currently having, they're allowing Jaguar pull up to them. And now Loops Esports, they were also being a squad that wanted to set up a bit of a trap. And it's going to end up backfiring as Misalta gets on fire there with the Grey Molotov from Intense Game. The grenades are going to be coming down from Intense Game. Can they actually connect? And look at the way that these teams are just putting out those Molotovs, controlling the path of some of the other players, controlling where they're going, and it's working out wonders for Loops as the grenades are going to be coming in, the knocks are going to be coming in, and the eliminations, the points, they're just going to keep adding them, PB.
This is number 3 versus number 4 in the lobby, and it looks like number 4 having the upper hand so far. Pedrinho going to retreat, and you guys are aware that this is a southern military island. I mean, it's very, very south zone, right? Can somebody radio into Inko and let them know where the zone is? They're in Yasnaya still. I don't know if they got the memo that this is a southern circle. You can see all these players and teams down here. Well, here is Inko. They're chilling. So they've got a different strategy altogether, but I do like that they've just decided to play their game and not really be concerned about where the map turns blue. You know what I'm saying?
hey, if you got the meds, sit in the zone. I mean, both bridges are already camped, PB. We're talking Loops, right? We just saw a intense game. We've got Influence Rage still on the eastern side, and they're actually full aggressing on the Alpha 7. They're saying, hey, we got an elimination. Screw it. We're going to send all the bodies after you. Unfortunately for Influence Rage, they've got to deal with both powerhouses here, 7 Revo and Korea, both prime and nade. Mafioso in the back, catching him off guard.
The anchor player, Mafioso, this is why he's so huge for this squad. Now Rebel switching his focus, and the thing is, the reason why Influence Rage decided to switch it and make sure they make that push, because they were able to confirm one of the players from Alpha 7, realizing it was Alpha 7, sending it towards them, but now Rebel ends up getting knocked as the circle just continues to shift further south into the west, PB. You're gonna get that military, and you're gonna get one heck of a military final circle if it continues to go even more south into the west.
Really well, man. I love the fact that this Alpha 7 squad and Influence Rage squad, these are your top 2 teams in the lobby, they're not avoiding each other. They have fought nearly every game so far, and it hasn't really been to either squad's detriment right now as they both top the tables. Pretty incredible stuff from them as Influence Rage. They lose a couple, so does Alpha 7. They're down to 3 players, but they're both going to live to fight another day, it looks like. Now, interestingly enough, while all of this was going on and the fight went out to the field, well, they lost that choke point, and Jaguar has passed them up and now owns the bridge. They may be waiting to bridge camp the winner of this fight, or perhaps both of them. So very interesting. IG finally goes down on the other side of the map, not able to get into zone safely. But this game just got interesting for sure. Jaguar has finally left and gone south. But Influence Rage and Alpha 7 may be locked in a stalemate here and then have to, heal out. Heal strat here in stage 3, 7.
Yeah, I don't expect anything different from these squads. And the reason, to give a little bit more context to the viewers too, is these 2 squads generally don't like each other in real life. They will trash talk to each other. When I was there at the finals for Pmsl Spring Split, both of the crowds were just going at each other, chanting each other's stuff. So yeah, this is why I was not expecting them to back off anytime soon, considering that there's 2 of the top squads. Now VIP making a push there towards Wolves, and he ends up backfiring a little bit as SONxKC throws a nade and knocks out 2 of the players, and in the process he should be able to hopefully come back. Oh no, there's nobody else near. There you go. Hero is going to be able to clutch up. Can he actually do it, Enigma? As now he's trying to find that last player, but it was so slow that now the other players from VIP are up and running.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I believe they were trying to get a reset going on down south for the Wolf squad, and Wancho just getting full slammed. And
I don't know if they know Higors is in the...
He's
I don't know if they know he's in there.
Prince, this isn't a ghost. He doesn't just disappear. You saw him get into it. You stared him in the face through the window.
I don't know if he saw him, though.
They're playing peekaboo. I think they might have been able to spot him now. Oh, there you go. You saw him being able to switch now towards the back.
He is so comfy in there.
Oh, yeah. Prince,
you gotta start shooting it. Come on. Blow it up.
Do you know, Prince?
Nope.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go. We found the mouse, ladies and gentlemen. Just start shooting at the hovercraft and hope that he ends up jumping up and hope that we don't end up losing the player. There you go. Igor gets spotted by VIP and gets eliminated. A bit of a game there, trying to figure out where he ended up going. PB, they were just scoring. They were scavenging throughout that whole building, wondering where that player went.
Wait a minute. You're absolutely right. But what in the world? How did Alpha 7 get all the way down here ahead of these teams? They're about to make it into zone. What in the world has gone on that's allowed that to happen? Absolutely crazy. We take a peek at center zone, and UT taking advantage of that position. They dropped at military base. They're still chilling middle of the circle, waiting for everyone else to get to them. They need a lot of points. They're chilling in 14th right now, but this is their game. This is their time to shine. They can make something happen as Brazilians gets into the action here on Loops. Another man down to a nade. Loops seems to be kind of on one this game. They are clicking on all cylinders, Enigma.
Yeah, 6 eliminations. Unfortunately, Brazilians, even with having those 4 eliminations under their belt, not able to collect themselves to take on the force that is Loops Esports. And Loops, by the way, all 4 players still up. No one really to the north side other than Royals of War kind of gatekeeping them. Alpha 7, I believe, was able to make that rotation earlier on safely because they were griefing the Influence Rage vehicle, saying, hey, we're going to shoot your buggy tires out. We're going to make the rotation safely ourselves. obviously, as well. We saw Inco Gaming come in down to the south side, but my issue is going to be for a lot of these players, are you going to be able to get in with anything? It's actually just Diego here, 7, and he's gone. Never mind.
Boink. Just like that, eliminated out of the vehicle. I got to give props, 7, to Inco. They made the rotation all the way down south, like Enigma was saying, and they actually have a clear shot at zone. They're one of the better positioned teams, and that was after hanging out for an hour and a half in Yasnaya.
And they're keeping an eye, too, on it straight out of Nepal, because that squad is trying to make their way into the circle as well. And I got to give props once again to VIP, man. That early rotation ended up working out wonders for them. They're currently playing the zone exactly how they need to play it. Hopefully, they're going to be able to get even more eliminations, because with the way this squad's going, if they continue getting the circle, if they continue prioritizing that circle as well, they could end up with the top 5 finish and backing it up with Inlums. Now Maryland switching up the heat here towards 9C Globin. 9C Globin still having Colgo, still having Remix and Milos alive. So they got to make sure they don't get too eager here, because Maryland has paid in the past. And this is a team, if for some reason Maryland is able to win this fight, it will be completely the opposite of what they were doing yesterday at the beginning of the day, Enigma.
Yeah, and my question mark's going to be, is Colgo going to be able to get more than just one knock here? Almost even getting run over. Stands up, and Good Boy, he doesn't see him. The snake in the grass gets one. And for 9Z, they were having this compound control all game, it seemed, now being tried, true, and tested on the hillside in Colgo, and I'm wondering where the speed from the teammates are. We have Remix actually forced into a 1v1 down the hillside, but the bait's coming through. His teammate over top, Milos, getting the shots connected, and PB, as a 3-man, they're starting to dismember Maryland Esports.
They really are. I feel like this is a rivalry kind of brewing right now. We've seen these two squads come together. Remember, it was last match where Maryland eliminated 9Z. 9Z now looking for revenge, but perhaps looking in the wrong direction. As Sanab makes his escape from Maryland, they are able to kind of get away, it looks like, but it's just Sanab and Squash that have to try to get it done. They are going to elect to fight another day, but really impressive fight there from 9Z. Colgo on the flank, getting it done, and I really like the fact that he didn't try to go and over push to get that flush. He immediately retreated, dropped back with the grenades, and ultimately great plays from 9Z. And looks like they're going to have a tough rotation, though, to get into the zone. They'll probably want to make a move pretty soon here, 7.
Yeah, that's why I was a little bit scared there for Maryland. They seem a bit too aggressive, which is a team that is going to continue to be aggressive. But at what point do you want to be able to have a bit more of a strategy when you make those pushes towards those squads? It's stuff that they can definitely learn. If you're going to make mistakes, you want to be able to make it here in phase 1. So you can always go back, VOD review, and see what you can improve on once you end up getting towards the finals. Meanwhile, Loops Esports in this little divot right here with this terrain, it could end up working out for them. The only downside with this position is that it's not going to be within the zone, or it's barely going to be within the zone. You're going to have to worry about United for Gaming. You have Raw as well, straight out of Nepal, so many teams. So you got to make sure you get your full roster here and have everybody looking in different scenarios. So far, this squad is up to 6 eliminations. End up getting even more as Team Liquid's going down, Enigma.
Yeah, and Team Liquid actually going to be taking knocks from SON, and even though they lost Leon, they're full aggressing onto the Team Liquid split, and it's actually only going to be 2 in the building. The rest of Team Liquid outside the building might see some sort of nades come through the smokes. Mythic ratting it out in the shack. KC, I believe, understanding the situation, the jump shots, and he does get them there. Big pickup for SON. They are a duo, but you're sitting a lot closer to the center of the circle here compared to Loops here, PB. All these teams fighting desperately for a spot in this zone.
That was a big fight right there, because Team Liquid, I actually liked their position in the zone. They were gatekeeping about 5 or 6 different squads north of them, and ultimately it didn't matter. SON able to push in, clean up shop, and send Team Liquid packing, and that was one of the hottest teams in the lobby this game. Between them and Loops here, Loops now up to 7 eliminations as well. They have good position, but they also are going to have to move to the circle as it does shift to the south. And now it's straight out of Nepal with that position just outside the walls of the military base, kind of waiting for Loops. We'll see if that happens. And here's that revenge coming through just like that. Maryland gone. 9Z having the last lap, at least for now. I'm going to keep an eye on this rivalry as the day continues.
Easy clean up there for 9Z, but they're going to have to switch their focus towards Inco and have to worry about VIP as well. With this cover from the vehicles, they should be able to survive a little bit long. Inco's going to be too far within range distance at least for those grenades. But 9C, I mean, Colgo is just not going to slow down. And something that I want everybody to keep an eye on is look at that leaderboard. Look how many team names are grayed out there towards the top. So if there was ever a chance to close that gap, it would be now. Earlier, I was talking about Inco might be too far to be able to get within nade range. Guess what? You're going to have Row now to worry about, 9C. You got to make sure you connect with one of these players, or you don't stay still, as the grenades are just going to continue to rain down. There goes Colgold. Remix trying to go for that pickup, but he needs to be careful because more grenades are going to be coming in, and now Inco's making this push closer to them, Enigma.
Yeah, Nico Gaming desperately wanting the eliminations themselves, and then Abete actually being the one to dime one across the roadside down south. And I was really honestly just wondering when VIP was actually going to start applying pressure to the Worlds of War solo, because he was sitting there for 30 or 40 seconds, BB. He was throwing nades over top just in the dead open to a full 4-man squad. And now with the circle shift happening, we might actually see Rose of War potentially disengage a bit while Inco Gaming tries to push the gas further. Wow.
Great job there to eliminate 9Z. Nades were just ruthless. Right now, we've got 6 teams alive, and 3 of them from North America, straight on Nepal, still hanging on. We also have VIP Esports and Inco getting it done. Inco, with the incredibly late rotation, has the majority of the zone to their control, but we also have to consider Loops, who is just cruising right now. They've got 7 eliminations. They pushed through the smoke, taking the fight to UT. But Miyazata knocked down at the door, and the backup comes in. Rafinha, it's all up to you, and he can't get it done. Loops eliminated, and that leads us to the top 5, 7.
Lancine doing it by himself there, just holding it down for his squad with a little bit of help from his teammate and also some of the other squads raining it down. Great performance there for United for Gaming, and now everybody top 10 and higher are going to be out. It's going to come down to those 11 and 16 place teams. If you wanted to get a chance to be able to move up on the leaderboard, this is it. See if you can maybe collect some of those eliminations. See if maybe you can position yourself even better within the circle, as VIP is going to be looking to do. They have Amol trying to get some of that scouting done. Same as Saman. Saman was one player, Enigma, that you wanted to keep an eye early on within the game and within this match. He decided not to fight it out, and it worked out wonders. And right now, he's playing perfectly the role of scouting.
Yeah, but now we're talking, this is the moment. You got to start fighting. You've only got 1:30 left on the clock to work in for really just a roadside of scraps for cover. We did see 9Z spot. Obviously, Inco's actually debating, I believe, on potentially taking that as a position. But nonetheless, these southern squads going to have to deal with, obviously, Rose of War, United for Gaming, potentially even SON taking shots at them, because they're the only 2 teams down south that aren't comfortable with their position. With it being stage 6 as well, we're seeing 2 more circle shifts. These squads still have to move around. And for the battle tracker on the right, the one thing that surprises me, Powerbang, 4 out of the 5 squads, all 4 players still standing.
Yeah, there's a lot of points left on the board. That's all that means to me. And, you know, one of these teams really might have a shot at getting their first chicken dinner. The only one that sniffed the top of the podium so far is Royals of War in game 1 of day 1. And they're trying to do that once again, but not if these other 4 teams can stop them. It looks like VIP starting to go at it here with Inco in control of the bottom side of this zone. Inco has been impressive so far this game. Again, late rotation in, but the nades have been on point, and they're going to try to follow it up with some more. Those land, but don't get the job fully done. And now VIP getting chipped away at the backside from Royals of War.
VIP was not expecting that much aggressiveness as soon as they moved into this area, but the thing is, Inco has not allowed any player to get close by. You can see those grenades currently just flying over the players of VIP. Prince trying to find a spot here. They don't know where to go. They had Rose shooting at them, and on top of that, Inco just being so close to them. Inco currently up to 8 eliminations. Remember what the players were saying earlier at the beginning of the day. Brunosen, he said, we came here to win today. Let's see if that's going to be happening, Brunosen, because right now you're looking real good with the position that you have. You had the whole south of the map, and even if you decide to split a little bit more with this 2-2 split that you guys have, the west is wide open as well, Enigma.
Yeah, and the west side, unfortunately for Rose of War, when they took that engagement on a VIP, they lost 2 players. So that's only a duo holding down the western side. My question mark is going to be, how does United for Gaming move past this circle shift? Because it's only a duo in the compound in front of you, but what we just saw with Inco Gaming, full sight lines on the cross, as well as Franco Gaming. They have the potential of even just pulling up onto the backside of that one stack SON currently occupies. There's no good way to watch those sort of angles through the south. It's really a matter of time, maybe, of even how this circle shift happens. But with a minute left on the clock, PB, UT's got to start making moves.
They really do, and I'm really surprised that Straight Outta Nepal is just letting UT run up to this house and chuck grenades into it. I mean, you gotta know that they have to make this push across the street. You would think a grenade or something would come out to thwart this effort, but maybe the inexperience here of Straight Outta Nepal showing just a little bit. United 4 makes the crossing, and now they're pushing in, but they're getting help from Inko, who's chipping in with the third party. Joaco down on the back line, Gatsby down. Straight Outta Nepal is eliminated, and now the hopes of NA rest with Inko, who occupies the south part of this zone. United 4 has one player down. Each squad has 2 members left, and this looks like it might be Inko's game for the taking center.
It could end up being they're playing it smart. They know that Row might be close by. That 2-2 split coming into play. Row's going to want to be a little bit more aggressive. They're going to get spotted out there by United 4 Gaming. That's going to give an advantage there towards Inko, letting them know, yes, those players that we expected them to be on the other side of this little wedge will be there. And now United 4 Gaming just taking Row apart. And it's going to come down to a 4 versus 3. Who's going to be taking it here? Inko. They do have this terrain to work with. With United 4 Gaming, they have buildings to work with. If you wanted to choose any of this too, which position would you want to be in, Enigma?
It's got to be Inko Gaming. You've got the uphill advantage. You've been able to keep your cars safe all game long after taking out 9Z Globan. And now with United 4, you're watching that elimination feed. You understand this is just a 3-man in front of you. There's no other squads you have to deal with. No snakes in the grass. And now we see it as well. Yeah, United 4 Gaming, they used everything just to get to this point. So now them having to move forward into, I mean, we could even see it through the x-ray there. A full 4-man spread from Inko Powerbang. I just don't see it happening.
All right. What? 7, can you take over for 1 second?
We'll definitely do that. United 4 Gaming just waiting patiently here to see if they can just spot somebody from Inko Gaming. Waiting patiently. We might actually end up waiting to see what's going to be happening towards the next circle. There you go. The smokes are going to be coming out. United 4 Gaming wanting to be a little bit more proactive. They are the team that are going to be a little bit further away from the circle. Meanwhile, Inko just has so much room to work with, so many angles. You wanted to see this angle. You wanted to be here in this position where Inko's at. But now, Inko, how many smokes do you have? What kind of utility are you going to be working in? Remember, these teams have used a lot of grenades early on, especially where Inko was early on. They used it against VIP, and they usually use it against other squads as well. Now, United 4 Gaming making the push. And they decide not to wait there by the rock. They want to make a full push here as United 4 Gaming closing up the gap in a big, big way. McGrelling going to be trying to fend the Enigma.
11 frags. This guy's throwing the whole backpack right now as well. We didn't even make note of it. Who needs the smoke grenades if you get up onto the ridgeline and oh my god, they're doing it. McGrellan trying to salvage it. Powerbang. The shots come through and he's clutching it up in the open. The 1v3. McGrellan coming in for the winner chicken dinner. Inko Gaming, baby. First NA win. This is what we love to see.
They are talking that trash, giving those hearts, blowing those kisses, and just like that, we are getting it done. Top of the podium, and I pointed them out in Yasnaya early on in that game. That strat worked. The late rotation, they let everybody else kind of thin out the herd ahead of them, and they got in scot-free. Free and clear all the way to the southeastern part of the zone, and they made the most of that position. Inko Gaming getting it done for their first winner chicken dinner, and also the region's first winner chicken dinner. I loved what I saw from them, and honestly, I loved what I saw from NA in general. 7, we had 3 teams in the top 5 right there. Granted, Straight Outta Nepal faded away a little earlier than we would like, but they didn't have full strength. But overall, really liked the performance of North America this time around.
Baby steps, right? We're talking baby steps here with North America. Whatever we get positive, we will definitely end up taking. One thing that we were kind of sad about, as we do have to point out there at the beginning, was exports. I was really hoping they'll be able to scout a little bit more. Hopefully, they'll be able to bounce back as some of these other teams have been able to. And for Inco, this could end up being a big confidence booster. I know this squad definitely ends up being a confidence booster. Juancho there connects with the nade. I think he ended up knocking himself as well with that nade too. But for Inco, I want to see what Brunosen is going to be doing in the next couple matches. Vitali as well and McGrellion clutching it up there towards the end. It was absolutely beautiful, Enigma.
Yeah, and I think Bruno is just one of my favorite sort of players on that roster because he's someone that gets hyped. You want someone that is able to start yelling as soon as you get the winner chicken dinner. And yeah, I understand there's a lot of games in this tournament, but you need someone that's able to get the blood flowing from minute one. And Rondo, maybe a little bit of a lower performance than they like. They said, hey, you know, let's play our game. Let's come into the zone late, and let's make sure we can keep 4 players up and 4 players that they had that entire match here. Obviously, at the end, it got a little bit too spooky for my liking, but luckily, when you have someone like McGrellion ice cold in the veins, he's able to clutch up. And the stats here, even though Bruno's only got 87 here, PB, everyone else is putting up record numbers.
Hey, Bruno, you can't win them all, man. The good news is the team able to pick up the slack this time around. Look at that. McGrellion, Vitali both with 4 eliminations, and Abete with 3. Massive damage coming out from those 3 players as well. So again, just a really incredible performance. And you got to factor in the fact that Inco spent the majority of the game in the blue zone. So they weren't even in a position to attack anyone else, and they still found a way to put up 11 and pick up 10 points for that chicken dinner. So a big performance from them. Let's check the match rankings and see how the other teams fared as well. You gotta like the performance for Loops that game. Team Liquid did pretty decent, but United 4 Gaming got the shot in the arm that they so desperately needed as well, putting up 14 points in second place 7.
Yeah, United 4 Gaming coming into this match after yesterday, they only had 6 placement points. Now, after this performance and considering what they were able to do in Rondo 2, they're going to be able to double those placement points. And on top of that, add some of those eliminations as well. Straight under the power, you were talking about it. Just so much from NA here. VIP Esports 2, another great position, but that one thing that I was scared about that I was mentioning with VIP is those elims. They were only able to get 3, but I'm happy for this squad that they decided to rotate early, Enigma. It goes to show how quickly a decision like being able to rotate early, secure a compound, and then control it can lead for you to just end up in a top 4 situation, maybe even in a top 5 situation.
Yeah, and that's where you want to place yourself. The eliminations will come with the placements as long as you're not too afraid to go for it. In that match, I felt they were a little too passive, turtled up even when it came to their placements coming into that stage 5 and 6 zone, but this bottom half of the leaderboard. Really struck right. Talking about teams getting camped on the bridges, X-Force as well, off rotation alone. We saw him struggling. And by the way, I believe Fate didn't get those knocks because he didn't have an automatic in his hands, just a single shot DMR. So unfortunate stuff, but when you don't go for that contest drop like I thought they were going to do against Maryland and Promores, you really set yourself up for failure. But with there being 2 Aaron goes left, PB, there's still room to grow.
It really is. Wolves going out early with 0 eliminations, and man, that's a tough one to swallow for them. Perhaps next time they might rotate a bit earlier, given they dropped so close to the bridge. But check out the MVP. It is a Lanzin from United 4 Gaming, dropping early onto military base, camping out there the entire time. And he's got 2 special hands. And that seems to be the theme for these MVPs. They're just getting it done. You know what I'm saying? Almost 800 damage in this man's name in one match.
The hands that they do the magical stuff with, being able to collect those eliminations. It's not like the post that he's doing. I was trying to do it. Okay, that's how you do it. All right, I got it. Well, let's see what the overall is going to be showing, man. Because I want to see how some of those teams towards the bottom ended up moving up or closing at least a bit of a gap. Because remember, those top teams, Brazil was going to continue to do Brazil things. But look at the moves that we're seeing now from United Gaming. They end up moving all the way up to 10th place. On top of that, straight out of the ball, being able to collect some points as well, PB.
Yeah, you could see things starting to shift a bit, but the problem was all of the teams in the right column kind of gained points that game. I mean, it was literally like we flipped the standings for that particular match, with the top teams all finishing on the bottom all on the top. And so things have tightened up a little bit, but not a ton. So interestingly enough, the only exception to that being Inco Gaming with that winner chicken dinner is going to slide on over to that left column all the way up to 7th place.
Yeah, that's right, and I'm glad you mentioned it. I was gonna say Inco Gaming ended up being in 13th place before this last match. After this last match with that performance, Enigma, they make a switch all the way up to 7th place. Wolf Esports does end up falling down a little bit. 9C Globin as well, not being able to put up a performance.
Afghanistan lobby,
But something to
Turkey,
keep an eye on
Europe
for
lobby
9C
भनेछ
Globin
यो
and
भाइ
straight out of
फेरि
Nepal Enigma is look at the amount of eliminations this squads
Oh,
are
yeah.
being able to put up. I want to see what they
Africa
can
Cup,
do
yo.
if they get even more top 5 situations with those players alive and they just start fragging out.
Yeah, 9Z is always a squad. They win one squad engagement, unfortunately, just don't have the time to reset. SON loves playing those first 2 or 3 circles, being a thorn in people's sides, picking off 1 or 2 squad mates, but even just below him, man. Unfortunately, I'm seeing 3 NA teams holding up the very bottom of the leaderboard. I mean, come on, guys, please make it happen at some point. This is the second day, and thankfully for Inco, their win is on the most played map in the tournament, right? First Arendelle, you get the win. You got 2 more after this. I want to see more signs out of them, but I want to see it as well from everyone out of NA. And unfortunately, there can only be 1 winner each match.
Well, fingers crossed that we're able to see it some more from the likes of Inco Gaming. They win our second game of the day. Influence Rage taking home the first, and we have Kaya standing by with Law from Influence Rage.
कस्तो
I'm
लाइक
here right now
एनेको
with Lau from
कि
Influence Rage because they won the first map, Rondo. And I want to ask you about Rondo. What are you thinking about this like Rondo in place of SONxKC in the map rotation?
Acho que pra gente foi muito bom, porque SONxKC não era um mapa tão bom nosso. Bootcamp a gente ficava muito a pé e o meta tava sendo meio que usar carro. E acredito que pra gente foi muito bom essa mudança.
टप डट
So he said that basically it was a good change to put Rondo instead of SONxKC because they usually had to do the rotations on foot and the meta to go on car, and it was not that good for them. SONxKC, so he's happy that now they're playing Rondo. And I want to ask about if there is a team that particularly worries you in the Pmsl Americas, because for now Brazil is at the top of the rankings.
Acredito que um time que pode incomodar um pouco é o Wolves. Acredito que os outros times brasileiros a gente conhece bem, mas os outros regiões, acho que o Wolves é o time mais forte.
Okay, so even though Brazil is at the top of the rankings, the team that actually worries them is Wolves, because they know the Brazilian team is better than actually they know Wolves, and it can be a challenge in the future. That's it. Thank you, and congratulations for this match.
I, Victor, have soloed countless enemies on the battleground, rising above all. But alas, one ill-timed ambush and I was forced to jump off a cliff. When I awoke, I found that I'd become a billionaire? Here by the ocean, far from the cacophony of battle, I've built myself the most luxurious home. It boasts magnificent floor-to-ceiling windows, creating an immersive atmosphere. The complete transparency is totally my vibe. Every morning, I wake up in this gigantic bed and roll straight onto the balcony for some sunbathing. Imagine never having to wear battle gear again. I switch up my look all the time to match the season. Maybe I should open a fashion design company. If I hadn't been fighting on the battleground, I bet I would have become a huge celebrity. Look, a piano! Such a beautiful home naturally needs a piano to enhance the atmosphere. Becoming a musician is one of my biggest dreams, you know. It's been forever since I've had such a fancy lunch. Whenever I sit on the swing, I always think about how great it'd be to have a partner by my side. The sound of water soothes my soul. This is truly the life I was meant to live. Life as a rich person is just so uneventful and simplistic, isn't it? Running in the sunset with my enemies takes me back to my youth. The sound of bullets whizzing past one's ears, teammates shouting close by.
Victor, wake up!
No way! That was a dream? Battle goes on, for life is endlessly cruel.
लाइक स्टार्टिङको त्यो उसदेखि नै कि फाइनलमा टोटल फाइनलमा मात्र म 20 किल जान्छु 20 किल जान्छु अब डिफेन्समा के खेल्दैछु फ्र्यागर कि के ल म फ्र्यागर खेलेँ भने म 30 सम्म जान्छु ए पछाडिको 0 पछाडिको होइन अगाडिको 5 हटाएर तिम्रो चाहिँ ए हात्तिनु भएन नि त म त्यही I would say 20 to 30 सम्म चाहिँ भन्छु म
And rescuing teammates.
त्यो त
In addition to skills, the map is also filled with interactables and special
extra time
items.
sir के
They're your
रियाक्ट
secret
हुन्छ
weapon for
भन्नु
causing chaos and distracting the predator. Attacking the predator
त्यो
with
अनि त्यसै
firearms
त
will fill
बोले
a stun
गर्छौ
bar. When the stun bar is full,
सो
or
म यो
is destroyed,
गीतमा रियाक्ट गर्न
the
जान्छु
predator will be stunned,
गीतको नाम
giving your team time to get
रहेछ
away and
हतास
activate
यो गीत मैले
terminals.
पहिला नि
Survivors
तर म्युजिक
collectively
भिडियो
have 2 respawn
हेरेको
chances.
मेरो
At 6
फेभरेट हो
minutes into a match, or if all respawn chances have been used,
अहिले
respawning will no
चाहिँ
longer be
पर्सनल
available.
फेभरेट भएको छ यो
When
गीत
this
चाहिँ हैन
happens, an exit
तिम्रो
portal will appear at a random
केटाहरूले
location.
चिने कि नै तिम्रो फुल
Until there is only one survivor left.
तिम्रो लागि फुल
Once
टिप्यो
5
खै के
terminals
पो
are
थियो
activated, the exit gate will open.
हैन रोक मेरो युट्युबमा गएर हेर्छु अब तिम्रो लागि टिपी कति फुल जति भन्ने गीत हो के त्यो लेट्स प्र्याक्टिस है बाई प्रिन्स डेकोटा है डेउकोटा तिम्रो हल्का ढिलो छ
तिम्रो लागि टिपेका ती
एकछिन साइलेन्स
मेरो मलामीमा सजाइ दिनु ल म चिच्याउँदा मन मनै एकान्तमा मलाई अङ्गाली
तर एक्टिङ चाहिँ एकदम राम्रो हो यसमा नि
म भागिरहेछु यादबाट तिम्रो तिमी आउँछौ कि भनी फर्किहाल्छौ सताइरहन्छन् मलाई दृश्य तिम्रा यही धरतीभित्र समा
तर यहाँ हेरे नि सबैको एक्टिङ हेरे नि ओ माई गॉड सबैको एक्टिङ हेरे नि सबैको एक्टिङ बब्बाल छ कि यसमा के जति मान्छे त्यति चुप लागेर हेर न म पो यहाँ रियाक्सन हान्छु तिमीले मेरो भिडियो हेरिरहेको छु अब कस्तो लजाकी हो
मलाई छाडिदेऊ नयन तिमीलाई हेर्न
यो चाहिँ म्युजिक भिडियो हो के
म बाँकी तिम्रो
पहिला आएको भनेको उस हो नि त र भर्जन
म बाँकी तिम्रो तिम्रा पाप जति भए पनि म भागी तिम्रो म भागी तिम्रो मलाई छाडिदेऊ नयन तिमीलाई म बाँकी तिम्रो म बाँकी तिम्रो तिम्रा पाप जति भए पनि म भागी तिम्रो म भागी तिम्रो
यो एउटा कुरा सोध्नु मन लाग्यो क्या यो बिहा भएपछि चाहिँ के ए बिहा भएर कोही बित्यो के अरे केटा बित्यो भने यो सबै निकाल्छ हो यो के अरे यो सिन्दुर मङ्गलसूत्र के दिन्छ हो र मलाई थाहा थिएन मलाई त थाहा छैन है मलाई त भर्खर देखेको यही भिडियोमा देखाएँ मैले त ल फेरि रिस्टार्ट फेरि गीत स्टार्ट
म भागी तिम्रो
अहिले यहाँ रियाक्ट हानी हेरेर नबोल नि अहिले एकछिनमा गेममा जाँदा यसपछि हान्नुलाई कस्तो मिठो आउँछ dancing naman hindi. Bappa मेरोबाट चाहिँ 10 out of 10 यो गीत है प्रिन्स देवकारी है यसो के अरे कपिराइट नहान्दै हुन्थ्यो
Go game. Let's get another back to back. Let's just have that each day. Some team going back to back on the win columns.
I like it. And for me, I'm going to go with Maryland Esports. Feel like they got, one pulled over on them from 9Z this last game, a little revenge, but I think the pendulum swings both ways. Looking for a big performance here from Maryland. I feel like they've had a really strong last 4 games now, and they've put themselves squarely in the conversation to try to climb back into the top of the standings. So again, we take a peek at our Aaron Gill top performers. We've got Intense Game dealing some major damage. You can see down there on average, they're putting out 1,271 damage on this map. So excited to see it. Another Southern Plain path here. We kick off once again VIP United 4 Gaming in the South. We'll see if they get rewarded with the Southern Zone once again.
Yeah, loving the adjustments some of these teams have been able to do, especially in regards to hot drops. Team Liquid not longer gonna have to worry, honestly, about a straight out of Nepal, as they have just chosen that melted power. And with this circle right here, everything towards the north is going to be open unless Alpha 7 decides to drop that Lipovka spot with this plane path, and they actually make a full rotation there towards the northwest and try to go towards Giorgio. We'll have to wait and see what these squads are going to be doing. One hot drop that is going to continue on here is going to be Exports against Maryland. You wanted to see Maryland, you wanted to see what they're capable of here. We might end up having to see them get into action very quickly here, PB.
That was really interesting. I said Maryland, and I was looking for where they were dropping on the map. I scanned that whole map front to back, side to side, and then did it again. Couldn't find Maryland. Well, they're right underneath Klaus here, who is armed with a crossbow. So that's not great news, except for it is. Klaus connecting with Sanab, and he is showing why he is one of the top players. Man, if he got the 2-piece there, I was going to lose my mind. Experts, though, starting a little rough. But, man, here we go. I don't know who's going to win this game.
You had that crossbow and crossbow action. You saw Klaus being able to get him there with the regular crossbow, and then you had the explosive bow coming in out of none other than Maryland. They will be able to get some pickups here. It might be able to recover just in time. Molina going to have to start the revive, and he's not going to be able to. As Alim clutches it up there for his squad. Sinab's going to be going down. Buddy's going to try to clutch it up here for Maryland as he's the last one standing. He's going to be able to connect with one. Now he needs to make sure he connects. Confirms that elimination there. And at least if they do end up exiting early, they'll exit with 1 elimination towards their tally.
Yeah, X-Force, you got to be able to keep Fade up there. You had the one player left, and unfortunately, 4Ks might get caught out. Thankfully, he is able to shoot him, and the BM is going to come through. Last game on Erangel, I was wondering, why didn't X-Force drop with them? I think they just thought Maryland wasn't going to commit to the hot drop, but this time around, they said, hey, we're going to send the squad inside. We're going to take the engagements, and I love the fact that they had 2 explosive bows on Maryland, being able to catch 1 player for free on A-Lim, but the difference was there, I felt, PB, they didn't go for the thirst. They just allowed X-Force to walk up and get the trades left and right.
I'm shocked that Klaus is still alive. I mean, he died very early in that fight after landing a miraculous crossbow shot. I loved it. But that's good news for X-Force because, again, he's been the top player on the squad, and he's going to live to fight another day, so.
It will be able to, and yeah, that crossbow, man, I'm a big fan. Okay, I sometimes try to go for those no scopes. It ends up working out for me with sniper rifles, with crossbows. I am an absolute potato when it comes to that. But now we're switching over to Inko Enigma. You want to see Inko go for the back-to-back? Yesterday, we were not expecting any team to be able to do it. And then intense gaming said, watch this, hopefully, Inko Gaming here with your pick, they'll be able to go back-to-back.
And back-to-back, I do believe as well. Yeah, PB, I'm hearing right now in the ear right now, they're telling us, interview with McGrell. Let's get a peek at that. I want to see what they have to say coming out of that win.
Winner, chicken dinner for North America, finally. Here we are with Margarine. Congratulations, great match. Late rotations for you guys, but it worked out.
chicken
deu certo.
Sim, a rotação que a gente tá desde o split passado treinando ela e procurando melhorar sempre ela, mesmo dando certo. Então eu acredito que nessa vez
we've been practicing that rotation a lot, always that rotation. So we were able to do the things that we planned. Yesterday wasn't a good day for North America in general. What did you guys change for this day? O que vocês mudaram para esse dia? Ontem não foi um dia bom para ninguém da North America, mas esse dia já está dando certo.
Se Deus quiser terminar com o dia com uns 80, 90 pontos, se quiser, né? Tipo, se der tudo certo. Então eu acredito que vai dar tudo certo. Começamos com o pé direito o dia, então vamos com tudo, né?
We wanna 80, 90? 80, 90 pontos? 80, 90 points we were aiming for. Luckily, everything will turn out good for us. We started good today, so let's see what happens. Bro, thank you very much. Congratulations.
McGrell and Baby making sure we understand the game plan, especially coming out of day 1. NA, like Sarpatch said, 7, not really performing the best, but I was pretty surprised. McGrell was saying in the interview, we make that rotation every time because now the question mark in my head is going to be, who else is listening to these interviews, 7? Is another team potentially going to maybe look for that squad on rotation?
Are we doing a Dragon Ball fusion here? Yesterday, it was with PB and myself, both minds thinking alike, and now you and I absolutely thought the exact same thing here. Let's go back to it, though, as Loops right now going up against Resilience. Resilience being able to knock Niasada from Loops Esports, and they're going to connect to it. There's going to be one elimination going their way, and more than likely, they're going to be looking to collect even more here as Big Team goes out, the MVP of day 1. But yeah, I'm absolutely with you. With Inko saying they've just been practicing that rotation over and over again. I'm pretty sure teams are going to keep an eye on that. They're going to be like, okay, it's same circle, same map. Let's see if Inko's maybe going to be coming our way once again, Enigma.
Yeah, that's gotta be the case for the most part, but Resilience, after getting that one elimination under Loops, your power bang, they're looking for more action, but it's not going to be the same squad. It's going to be Rose of War potentially being the third party rotating into them.
Absolutely, we've got the Resilience squad here looking up, staying quiet per usual. I want to see these guys get into it. I still don't know who this squad is, right? I want to see them get into it. I want to see what their capability is. But ultimately, so far, I feel like there's been a lot of camping. They're getting their positions and they're kind of chilling. But I want to see them be tested and challenged because they were the #1 team by a large margin coming in from LATAM, and I want to see if they really truly have the chops to back it up at this level 7.
They might be able to. I mean, yesterday they had a good performance at the start, and then they just kind of dwindled down the leaderboard. That's the thing that's going to separate these teams from the teams that have been here for a long time. Yesterday, they started off the day in 16th place in Rondo, but were able to bounce back when we came down to Erangel. 5th place finish, 4th place finish, and 5th place finish as well. But so far today, we just haven't been able to see much out of that squad. Right now, they're sitting in 12th place. They do have 2 eliminations that we got a chance to see early on out of this squad. Meanwhile, we're switching over to United for Gaming, keeping tabs on what VIP is going to be doing here. And United for Gaming, they are going to be split. They're looking to set up maybe a trap here for VIP. And if VIP, going into tomorrow, they might end up having to adjust if for some reason this circle or this kind of path plays out again.
Got Inko chilling once again, way out in the blue zone. So I'm liking this strategy away from them. They're just content to get really looted up, really geared, not really worry about what else is going on the map, and make that late rotation in. And hopefully some of the dominoes have fallen at that point. And, we'll see if that strategy pays off once again. But, I would not be shocked to go back to the well on something that worked so well last game. We'll see if they can do it once again as VIP in a bit of a pickle here against United 4 Gaming, who has some serious high ground, Enigma.
And I feel like this is almost a bit of a bait play. United 4 Gaming not going for the thirst just yet. I'd actually would have liked to have seen the shots wait going on to Prince. Maybe just wait for him to stop moving on the revive, but instead feeling the shot. Does connect one, but it's not to the head. He will be able to potentially get the heal off if he can jump out in a safe spot. We do see the blue zone as well. Actually, Batman being one going for the pickup 7. So VIP Esports, they get camped out. They dropped Novo, not recognizing United 4 Gaming split. And unfortunately, they're getting chased through the blue zone now. Not even in the regular vehicles, but the hovercraft, baby.
We saw what this squads were able to do earlier with the hovercrafts. We saw a bit of a cat and mouse gameplay early on too. And United for Gaming being able to get some knocks there on VIP, securing those eliminations, and also making sure that they revived those players from their squad that ended up getting knocked by VIP as well. At one point, you want to disengage from this fight and just start focusing on that circle, because that circle is just getting further and further away from you. You're going to have to play edge, and if you're not used to that, you're going to have to adjust on the fly. And for some of these squads, it's a little bit easier said than done. Straight out of Nepal, a squad that is going to be within this circle and is going to be looking to just move around, gather that terrain, see if you can maybe force off some of those NA squads, because they are used to playing against each other, PB. They have faced each other in the Titan series.
I know.
And we're squaring off against X-Force. We got straight on Nepal looking at X-Force, but then over on the other side, we've got the Wolves. Kind of chilling at a compound, driving by at least. So again, could be a bit dicey here for NA as we're about to see some inter-region violence, it looks like. But for now, content to kind of rotate around each other. Straight out of Nepal, though, I gotta say, I like the positioning, and they've really stepped up their game today, Enigma.
Yeah, and for SON, it's all a matter of keeping that momentum going. Keep getting the elimination tally higher and higher. The placements closer to that top 3 finish. And for the most part, one thing I got to make note of, we haven't seen it too much. Wolves, almost every game has been holding a split. Worked out great for eliminations. Last Erangel fell short off of people getting knocked. So my question mark has got to be, can this squad find the moment to keep themselves together? But with a circle shift like that, I'm seeing all these teams up north. They're going to have to rotate in, but VIP, man, they're not even out of Millie. They're not even out of the blue zone yet. United 4 Gaming still on the heels of them here, PB.
We got that quarry finish that we were talking about earlier. Very excited to see it. What's going on here with United 4 and VIP? It feels like there's some bad blood, because they are just chasing them down, not letting it go. And with that, you can see the exasperation on the look of VIP Esports on the player cams. Love to see it. We got Federal in the background there. A nice little bokeh. Setting him off against the distance. The camera's focused on whatever's in the foreground. That's hilarious. We got, again, another big matchup here against 9Z. It's going to be Influence Rage potentially taking them on. Want to see if this actually kicks off, because these are 2 squads with serious talent, and 9Z, I feel like today have come to play. Granted, they are in 13th. They've had some pretty epic battles, though, with the likes of Maryland.
And for 9C and Influence Rage here, I just want to let you guys know, boys, you can coexist. It's okay. You don't have to fight right now. You will have to fight at some point. But one of the things that happens sometimes in global tournaments is that teams know that they need to coexist with another squad. They don't have to start fighting off right away. The only thing that happens and that allows is a third party. If for some reason some of the other squads do end up going towards where 9C is at, then more than likely Influence Rage is going to be able to spot that and go for that third party. So it's a bit of a decision making there in those situations. Enigma, what do you usually want to do? Do you just want to go for that fight or just become good neighbors, at least for an extra circle?
You definitely become an 8-man squad, right? The only team that's not really in a comfortable spot is going to be Loops here. They're actually down to a duo, and if I'm 9Z, they're really in the power position here. They're able to take angles onto Influence Rage. There's a reason why we see 3 out of the 4 players in the foreground there being all prone, because they understand, hey, we don't have the comfortability, the angles to take this engagement. While 9Z, they're the ones that have multiple build-ups. Them being able to control a spot like this so early on just means that you're playing for the late game. And for Loops, I'm not sure what happened to those 2 players you made note of. It might have been Resilience up here having 2 to their name. Could have potentially caught him off guard, but the issue is so many teams rotating through here. Quarry as well, not really being occupied by anyone other than the first place team in the lobby, meaning that everywhere else up north here, Powerbang, I feel like even towards the center of the map, when we saw the map screen, everyone's occupying it.
Absolutely. You see Resilience kind of making their way into the top part of the zone here. I thought they were going to actually get out-rotated by Inko, who's coming in from the north as well, making that big, long rotation from Yasnaya. I want to see what happens here on this circle, because Intense Game is really staking out a lot of territory alongside Alpha 7, and it looks like they'll be rewarded for their patience again. That whole left side of the circle kind of up for grabs right now, and that compound that we were keying on a moment ago with Loops, 9Z, and Influence Rage, that just became a lot more popular. They may have to form a 10-man squad there to fend off some of these other squads.
Yeah, please show me that compound fight, because right now we have so many teams crashing onto that area. You have Team Liquid just deciding to get even closer to 9C. They said, no, we don't want to be neighbors. We don't want to create an 8-man squad, a 12-man squad, whatever the case might be. We want to take the fight to you guys, and this is when the decision making is going to end up happening. And now for 9C, the only thing that happens in this situation is what I was alluding to with those third parties. The grenades are going to be coming in. Reyes being able to connect there with Chief, but you have to watch out with the push from 9C. If you do decide to push, Alpha 7's currently having a great spot at you. You also got Cold Gold knocked right now. You're gonna have to slow it down a bit, and with this slow down right now, a lot of these teams, Enigma, are thinking about that 12-man squad.
I'm just debating on why Team Liquid decided to slam this compound. They were free down south on the new circle shift, and they said, nah, we're just going to send it. We feel the zone's ending here. And yeah, they lost 1 player, but 3 players remaining while there was 3 squads in or around this compound. You never see a rotation like that happen twice. You might as well have Thunderstrike on, twice here on the broadcast. But for the most part, these teams, unfortunately, not getting the eliminations with the knocks, resulting in all these teams back at a standstill. So I don't know how many teams are even here. Wait a second. Intense game now. What is this, on the west side of the compound?
Intense game coming in from the west. You got Resilience coming in from the east. It's getting hot and hot and hot and hot and hotter. This is absolutely madness going on at this compound, but you gotta think that if you look at the map, all of the buildings in this zone are out of the zone except for this one now. So this is the hotspot. This is what teams want to be able to lock down, is this area, as Resilience fight their way in, trying to get it done. X-Force goes out. They aren't able to get it done, and Resilience able to find a little bit of a solace in safety, at least for the moment. 9Z still clinging to life. They've got all 4 players left up, and I gotta point out, I'm waiting for the nades to come flying from Loops. They've just got the 2-man down there. They've tried to be quiet, but Rattleboy has had a nade in his hand for the last 20 minutes, and he's waiting to use it, 7.
And not only just Loops Esports there, one team that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on is this one right here, Wolves Esports, especially with the hovercraft. Yesterday, we've seen it being able to just be huge cover, especially in this kind of areas here where at one point it might be out in the open. You're going to be able to use it as cover. One of the players is going to get knocked. Now do you want to put on the pressure here? Being able to secure that elimination, not quite there for Doran, as he was really trying to go for it. And on the other side, fight happening too. 19 continuing to get knocks. Igor trying to get that player behind, and it's going to be M2 that put up a great performance yesterday, not today, as Wolves Esports coming out on top of this fight.
Yeah, and the split just allowing Wolves to have full control of Jaguars. Pull up 2 for 2 on the nade knocks as well from Igor. We saw both players, Coops and Dorn, getting down to 1 HP, getting the bait plays going. Usually you see the guns get used to get those knocks, but Igor's saying, nah, I'll save that for later in the match. Good elimination count for the Wolves early, and with them having that far northern side, they were able to prevent SON from third party being able to get the reset. And yeah, SON, they've got 4 elims, but they've lost KC early. They're now finding the spot that Resilience first rotated from into X-Force here at PB. So now I'm starting to see potentially another NA on A violent scenario.
I am as well, and I'm also seeing bad news for the rest of the lobby. Alpha 7 owns half of the circle right now. There are 9 teams alive, 8 of them are on the top half of the circle. Alpha 7 alone has the southern half of the circle. They have the compounds, they have the high ground, and as you can see, literally bisecting the entire zone. This is not good news for everyone else. So Alpha 7 primed to potentially take it to everyone else yet again. Quiet so far with just one elimination. But man, oh man, they have a really good position. That compound continues to be death trap for everyone. Yet somehow, everyone's still surviving.
Yeah, everybody's just going to be playing it safe here. And if we can actually take a look at that map with no fights going on, with everybody just trying to get those angles, I mean, you'll be able to see clearly what PB's been talking about with Alpha 7. Full control of the south, a 2-1-1 split there. Rebel having a lot of cover from him. And Mafioso, I'm actually really intrigued with this 2-2 split that they've been doing for Alpha 7 with Mafioso and Gisao, one of the new players to this roster, wanting to stay within those 2-2 splits. A bit of an anchor support there as well, and a fragger entry now. Wolves Esports, we saw them get some eliminations earlier on. You want to be able to carry this momentum. One thing that I absolutely love that I'm seeing right now for this squad is that they do have all 4 players alive. It should help them out here if they are going to make a push. The thing though, if you do end up making a push, you got to make sure you do it quick, and you got to make sure you do it decisively. If not, you might leave yourself open here for a third party, and they're teasing with it. They're flirting with it, Enigma. Do you just want to go for that push? You already got a knockdown earlier.
I mean, I want to see it right now, but the players understand we gotta wait. We gotta restrict ourselves. The smoke grenades are out. We have the angles. We don't want to rush it because very well influenced Rage potentially make the rotation, and see the utility actually getting used now. The smoke grenades missing the windows, being able to potentially find a mark through it, actually getting some good damage onto Gatsby, but you don't want to waste everything. Thankfully though, Coops finds one on a Leon, opening up the scenario, and it's only one going to be left on straight out on Nepal. This is the moment you look for the push. Keep 4 players standing here. You need to make sure you get this quick and decisive like you were mentioning. 7-1 goes down, potentially a third party, but it gets saved. We're not in the danger zone just yet, but it actually looks like someone from Alpha 7 potentially looking for a third party here.
And that was the thing. That was the reason why we're talking about decisiveness. You don't want to leave that door open to some of the other teams. The Brazilian teams, we know they like to be aggressive, especially with a squad like Alpha 7. Rebel has been holding on this angle for the longest time, and you can see them there in the minimap. They have regrouped at least to a 3-1 split for that squad. And I absolutely love this overview, especially earlier when we showed it, when there was just so many teams crashing into compounds. And the fact that these 2 teams are still alive after that mayhem, 9C being able to maintain their 4 players alive, as well as influence Rage. That's what can happen, PB, when you are just able to be good neighbors for a little bit. You don't always have to fight if you don't need to.
That's right, but one team that will need to fight here pretty quick is SONxKC. They're on the outside looking in right now with nowhere really to go, and Mafioso better have his head on a swivel because SONxKC is driving by. He sees him coming and retreats, probably a smart heads-up play. SONxKC takes the spot, at least for the moment, but they're still not in the safe zone. That's going to give Alpha 7, though, the cue that they might need to come put their focus back this direction to try to secure some extra points. But they rotate even further around. They've got eyes on the Wolves now. And you're absolutely right, 7, about that compound. 9Z somehow still has all 4 players left alive, and they're big chillin', while everyone else here on the outskirts, Guizhou and company, trying to just fight tooth and nail for position and for that rank.
Yeah, those smokes came in handy earlier whenever Alpha 7 was taking shots at them. Now for Alpha 7 here, you're going to have to focus a little bit more on which fight you're wanting to take, because yeah, Wolves Esports, you are kind of focused towards the higher ground, but the easier fight that you might need to take is going to be against Resilience, and this is when Mafioso is going to come into hand. Mafioso is going to be that anchor player, trying to get those different angles, trying to call out stuff that he might be able to see from the higher ground too. Meanwhile, Inco feeling hot after they're winning the last match, gonna be making a push here towards Intense Game. They currently have 3 players left alive. Intense Game only having 2. Brunosen getting knocked there with the nade and getting eliminated. And now Inco just moving around back and forth, setting up those nades. Are they going to be connecting and just barely missing it? Pedrinho hiding there by the stairs, Enigma.
Yeah, Inco getting a little too overzealous, climbing into the building, knowing there's essentially 3 or 4 squads in here. Thankfully, McGrellin able to pick one on the knock, but they're still having to hunt this last player. Not sure where he's at. He's actually hiding on the stairs. He walked by him, gets one. Pedrino potentially saving the scenario for this squad. 1v1 situation here. Shotguns in hand for each of them. 1 DBS, 1 S12, and the stairs angles. They start peeking. Vitali debating on where he wants to move. The Molly at his feet as well. He can't even see it due to the smoke grenades. And my question mark now as well, PB, is what is 9Z going to do? There's 2 solos in this building, and we see the aggression. You're battling for 8th at this point.
As you sit,
They
man.
are. If I had my druthers, I think they just sit and camp like they have the whole game.
no,
I mean,
no,
why
no,
now?
it's
They have
yeah.
the advantage. They're about to take it. But Pedrinho with the clutch plays so far for Intense Game to keep them alive, but it's now up to just him. He's got grenades. That's a sick angle. Drops one in, doesn't quite connect, but they know he's in the shack now. He's just going to drop this at the door. Can he connect? No grenade, but he comes out, gets a knock, and gets knocked on the way back in for the flush. Intense Game goes down. You know, I'm really glad Inco crashed here, though, because I feel like this compound just didn't have enough action so far this game. It was really needed. So, with that, we've got Resilience and Alpha 7. Molina dropped, and Alpha 7 looking to take it to him.
It was bound to happen. I was talking about earlier in regards to Wolves. They might wanted to fight Alpha 7. They're able to get Geese out there, but Alpha 7, the more than likely fight that was going to happen first was going to be against Resilience right here. But you don't want to give them enough time because you don't want to be able to recover. Now they only have 3 players, and with the move earlier that we saw 9C being able to do, Influence Rage has closed that gap. That neighborhood, that happiness that we had, the nice little marriage, absolutely gone. Resilience has been able to pick up that player. Alpha 7 looking to close out this player from Resilience. Carrillo being able to knock one player. Rebel's going to be pushing in. He's been able to put up the eliminations and eliminates the last player there from Resilience. And now Wolves Esports looking to secure more ground, looking to third party this, but don't get too overzealous there, Doran, because they still have Mafioso being that anchor for the squad, Enigma.
Yeah, unfortunately for Wolves, no knock onto any Alpha 7 players. It was just that one and done. We do have 8 eliminations on the squad, but we've seen Alpha 7 dismantle teams as not even just a trio, but a duo in these lobbies. So seeing Revo on the roof, Mafioso in the back. Thankfully, Coop's able to land the shots, but this is still sketchy. You still got to be able to get the knocks and the eliminations to wipe the squad out. You want to take the first place team out. If you're the top North American squad here, PB, you got to show you can go against the Brazilian superstars, and they're doing just that now.
Coops has gone Super Saiyan. Watch out. He is putting the bandana on and heading in just like that. Alpha 7 out of here. And the Wolves storm into the top 4. We are a full strength squad still at this point. And guess what? 7, I told you 9C was just in a big chill. They're still here, still big chilling, and we've got all 4 members left alive. This has been an interesting strategy. I like what I'm seeing from 9Z. It's funny, I was between them or Maryland on the picks coming into this game because I feel like somebody's got to break out here. Someone has to make a name for themselves, and why not be 9Z? And Loops, look at them still alive, 7.
Yeah, for 9C, that push that they ended up doing earlier, I actually enjoyed it because they were going to be able to just clear that left side, that west side of the map, and not really have to worry about anything. And they know that that team was going to end up moving up. They know that they're going to have to take this fight. But I'm with you. I'm going to keep a close eye on Loops here because Loops, they've been teasing those names over and over again. They haven't actually fully sent them. They're looking for the right situation. Which team is going to be the first one to get the knock? Reyes is feeling hot as he's currently up to 3 eliminations. Cold Goat as well, up to 2 elims, 5 for the squad. So far, 4 players are left alive, and you can see them just teasing, making sure that nobody's going to end up surprising them from the other side. Meanwhile, Loops is sitting pretty as they are currently one of the only teams that is going to have a compound within the circle, and you can see 9C not wanting to take a full fight here with Influence Rage, but Enigma, that might end up backfiring because Influence Rage will end up having the high control on them.
Look at Kolgo. He was marking the rock to see if it was in the circle and the smoke trail, able to at least get one across, but as soon as Kolgo gets to it, they get an opening on an Influence Rage to the compound. Kind of 2 fronts going on again for the Latam squad. Able to still stay alive. The vehicle explosion does not knock him. I want to see more players from 9Z start moving. You need to go sooner versus later. It is just a duo next to him, but you got to be able to support Cold Code here. And unfortunately, we're seeing Igor himself getting an off angle. These angles are getting a little too limited where they're able to hide behind. Wancho as well, even looking to swing out in the open. And everyone's trying to play the field now, Powerbang.
It's a really great positioning here from both 9Z to get that beachhead out in the open field, as well as Wolves with Wancho parking his car out there. Those angles will be money. Just give it some time for Influence Rage and 9Z to figure things out amongst themselves. Influence Rage down to their last member, Law, out, and the play zone takes him out, denying the points. And now Wolves with the return fire onto 9Z. It's going to come down to Wolves and perhaps Loops here. I mean, we still have the hope of 9Z and Colgoat out in the field, but man, dominant performance by Wolves this game. And not only that, they had to run through the top dogs in the lobby to get where they're at.
We've been wondering what could happen if Wolves Esports actually had their 4 players alive, if they actually started fragging out. This is exactly why we hold them in such a high regard for this squad. Currently up to 12 eliminations. Coops, the player that I wanted to see pop off today, having a great performance here so far. And now for Loops, what are you going to be doing here, Loops? Are you just looking to secure some placement points? Because that's exactly what you're going to end up doing. I know you're trying to get some shots there on Kolgo. Kolgo, the last player alive here for 9C. He's not going to be able to move. The grenades are going to be coming in. The Molotov is coming in as well from Igor, and they secure another elimination. And now this is looking easy here for Wolves, for Coops, for the squad, for North America, wanting to get another win for North America. Can they do it?
Wait a second.
Wanting to put a stop on that push. They're able to get one.
Oh no!
Here for Wolves Esports, and it does as Loops clutches up the win. A 2v4. What just happened, boys?
2v4 clean wipe. They didn't lose a player. I was just about to say MVP Loops for somehow, some way surviving in that compound of death for so long. And oh my goodness, they pop out at the end. The patience is rewarded. And I was going to say it earlier. We've seen Loops come through the Titan series. We've seen Loops play in the Pmsl spring splits. If there is ever a team that can play short-handed and still deliver the pain, it's Loops. And they showed you why right here, right now. They take their second chicken dinner of the tournament. And that has to be heartbreaking for the Wolves. Enigma, they had it. What the heck happened in a 4v2?
We all just wanted to start taking ones. We had the player 1 HP around the backside of the building, didn't get the knock, and just said, hey, these guys are just going to fall over for us, while Loops over here swinging 1 AK knock. We're seeing Coops self-molly, missing the mark, seeing the player take shots at him. And for the Wolves especially, I was getting a little worried seeing potentially Loops get on the roof of the 1 story, but they made the right play, getting onto the building and just instantly fell apart. We gave such high hopes, and I don't even want to say it's caster curse at this point from 7 hyping them up. It's just straight up faults of errors from this team.
I think it comes down to that team just not feeling super confident in those situations. Remember, they've been used to just fighting with just 1 player left alive, with maybe just 2 players left alive. Then now they found themselves there in a situation where they had those 4 players. They felt overconfident along the lines of what you were saying there, Enigma. They felt like they had an easy pick in there against just 2 players of Wolves Esports, but it ended up backfiring. But overall, I have to give Wolves Esports massive props for an amazing performance here in this match, even though but they were able to choke the win somehow. They were able to secure a lot of eliminations and a lot of points, pushing them higher on this leaderboard. And at the end of the day, you want to be as high as you can be at PB because you want to clutch up those placement points, those bonus points going into the finals.
That was an unfortunate end for the Wolves. We take a peek at our winners here. It was Loops. Not too many eliminations, honestly. They got 3 because Loops took Coops took himself out. Loops picking up 3 at the very end here. 5 total for the entire map, but they were in that compound where the map ended for a good 25 minutes. I mean, that was an incredible performance from them. The patience rewarded, but again, I mean, the Coops and I'll keep saying Coops and Loops, the story with the Wolves, I feel like they were cruising so well. 13 eliminations from the Wolves that game. Ultimately, it just came down to them letting their guard down. I mean, they're going to end up taking the lion's share of the points that game. 19 total for tops in the lobby, but it's Loops with the chicken dinner here. 9Z running it back here with 12 points as well. Not a bad game, and you know, you're seeing a mixture of flags here on that first page. Once again, not all Brazil this time around, Enigma.
Yeah, 9Z especially, 7 elims. They had that western spot next to Influence Rage, ultimately being able to win that fight out, essentially that 1v1 all the way up north at that late stage circle coming into that wall clutch. But for the most part, I know the Loops cameras, we saw them, they were absolutely hyped. Thank goodness for Wolves, we didn't see their player cams for this latter half of the leaderboard. I'm not even sure if I want to feel too sad seeing some of these names here, because it was just absolute chaos those first 2 or 3 circles. You're out on Nepal, United 4 Gaming, X-Force even, all having to deal with fights, and then it wasn't even stopping there. It was one after another. So the max standings, they do show some sort of fight in some of these teams at the bottom, but seeing a lot of 1s and 0s here, PB, it's really just a matter of that zone.
It's tough. I gotta apologize to Maryland too. I did caster curse them on that one, so I picked them to win, and they were out fast. But we take a peek at our MVP of the match. It is Coops. Good to see him making an appearance. Got them finger guns out, and he was using that game. 6 kills with 717 damage. Massive performance from Coops, and I gotta give a shout out to Hegors as well. He was on point, dealing 847 damage that game, and Doran also delivering from the Wolves squad. They look like the Wolves of old, and again, that should make a nice dent on our overall standings. Let's take a peek at how things stack up halfway through our first league stage. It's Alpha 7 out in front, 110 points. Influence Rage, an intense game, still sitting in second and third, but Loops have closed the gap. They're now making it a 4-team race. As we see, Wolves have jumped all the way up to number 5. 7, that's got to be reason for some howling.
And hey, baby, moving up from 11th place all the way up to 5th place. And imagine they would have just gotten those extra placement points, closing the gap even more to that 4th place. But overall, as I said, we could talk about how bad they choked that ending. I want to be positive with this squad because we finally got a chance to see them finish a game with 4 players alive, getting themselves into a top 2 situation. And I think it's only just going to continue on for this squad. They just need to get themselves in more positions like that. They'll get comfortable with it, and next time they won't be too aggressive. They won't be just like feeling, okay, we have this easy in the bag at Enigma, because that's what it felt like, especially when the last player from 9C went out. You could see how quickly they just rushed everybody into Loops Esports. Give them more time, they'll be able to adjust. They'll be able to act like they've been here before, especially in those situations.
Yeah, and a lot of these teams, they have been here before. It's always a matter of getting the rust shaken off you, make sure that you're able to get those eliminations and the placements when you deserve them. Obviously, a lot of these teams been in these experiences, and for the most part, a lot of those teams on the right side finally showing arrows moving upwards, right? Teams like Team Liquid, unfortunately, Inco Gaming as well, moving down the leaderboard a bit. Teams that are partnered, by the way, in Brazil and North America. But for these guys here, Powerbang, I'm interested in seeing a lot more of those top teams.
Well, hopefully it is a lesson learned for the Wolves. At no point is it ever okay to let your guard down and count the win before it is actually in hand. 4v2, not successful, but they do secure a lot of points. 13 eliminations and they move into our top 5. With that, we are halfway through our day and halfway through league stage number 1. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute. for game number 4.
पहिलादेखि गयो नि तँलाई पहिलादेखि गयो त्यो एकदम फर्कियो त्यही अनुसार मेरै कपी गर न त्यसको लगाएर तिमी के हुँदैछ अरे केही होइन गेम खेल्दैछ त्यही दिदी महँगो त एजियामा यसपालि त उसको टिम नै राम्रो छ यार केपी लेट्स जस्ट जेरिच मलाई जेरिच भएपछि पुग्यो क्या अरू चाहिँ के थियो त्यस्तै छ क्या को को आयो मेरो टिकटक एफआईमा भनेर मेरो नामासकेको दिदी आइरहने त नराम्रो छि JR SASH हेर नि त मेरो के गर्नु गर्नै पर्यो
It's been a heck of a day here at the PMSL America's Fall Edition, and I am here for it. I'm Power Bang hosting the show today alongside the 7WG and Enigma, and it has been a wacky, crazy one. Starting out last game with crossbows and finishing with a 2v4 clutch. A clean one at that. Loops taking our third game of the day for their second chicken dinner of the tournament. They're looking good, and they put themselves firmly in the conversation now for top 2. They're just a few points out of third place right now. And gentlemen, it seems like we have a 4-team race, all of them from Brazil. But the good news is the Wolves, they're going right up that leaderboard as well off the strength of a really strong Game 3 performance. 7, what'd you make of that? And what are we thinking for this next game. I mean, we're going to see some more NA prowess here on Erangel. It's been really, really solid so far.
I'm happy, man. I'm happy to see NA at least being able to put themselves in contention, at least getting wins earlier with what Inco was able to do. And I mean, you can see the performance that Wolves was able to put up. And you got to give props to Lose Esports too. You were calling it out the whole time. This team was just chilling. They were switching over to their nade for the longest time, wondering when is it going to be the right time to let it go. And boy, were they able to find out the right time to let it go whenever it was Influence Rage versus 9C. And then at the end, finishing off with Wolves. Great performances so far, but I want to see who's going to be stopping more Brazilian teams. I want to see who's going to try to stop Alpha 7. This PUBG ID deleted out. When you actually look at the gap right now, that it is going to be 15 points, and you don't really see Alpha 7 slowing down at any moment right now, PB.
They really don't. I mean, I got to point out 5 minutes as a squad. They died at that compound, right? And the two guys, took up refuge there. They didn't finish the fight. And ultimately, 23 minutes of patience from Loops before you were right. They finally decided this is the right time. It's going to be to win the game in a heads-up fight with the Wolves. And they steal victory from the jaws of defeat there. Really impressive game from Loops. And again, that's got to do nothing but, just boost their confidence. I was able to hear some of the audio from the studio. Loops was hyped to win that, and rightfully so. And equally disappointed has to be the Wolves, man. So let's take a peek at where we're at today. Rondo completed with Influence Rage, taking home the victory there. Inco stepping up big from NA, taking down Erangel for the second map of the day. And then Loops, unfortunately, jumping over the Wolves there to take game 3. But now it's anyone's game for Erangel match 10. Enigma, give us your prediction on who you think is going to take this next game.
Ooh, predictions? I was thinking the Wolves, but I don't know. We picked them too many times today. I'm looking at another Loops Esports win. I want to go back-to-back. Maybe it was an 8 for that last map, but someone's got to do it tonight. Someone's got to make it every day back-to-back.
All right, and coming back to you, Seven, what are we thinking?
I'm going to be looking at those teams in the overall towards the bottom, because now we're past that halfway mark of phase 1. Now is when you want to see those teams like Wolf Esports. This is why I'm trying to be really positive in regards to the performance they were able to put up. Even though they choked there towards the end, that performance is going to put them up higher. Now they're in a different mindset. Now they can be in a different contentions. Like, okay, we have the map here. We have exactly what we need to do in regards to just, okay, make sure you win your fights, obviously, and try to keep those 4 players alive towards the end. We have the fragging power. There's a reason why everybody, when they think about North America, they think about Wolves Esports being one of the best teams. That were able to showcase it there in that last match, and I'm hoping that that's going to continue on.
All right, I like the pick so much so that I will pick the Wolves also. I feel like Juancho is going to be, salsa dancing his way to victory here. Cool, calm, and collected. Great attitude from Juancho as always. But man, I gotta say, Higors and the crew, Coops, they're looking strong all of a sudden. Like the aim's on point, the guns are rapidly coming alive. And so I want to actually hear from Juancho. Let's go to Kaya and see what this interview is all about.
Hey guys, I'm here right now with Juancho from Wolves Esports, and now they almost got a winner in the So what happened in the last minutes, last seconds of the match, and how did you feel?
Well, we didn't play with the Overwatch, even though Igor said play on the left, play on the left. We all do. I mean, I guess we just all wanted the kills. Didn't want them to go to waste the safe zone, and it did not feel great to give up the game to Loops, but it's whatever. We'll bounce back.
I just wanted to be aggressive a little, yeah. Okay. And I also want to ask you about the zones, because when the zones get closer to the middle of the map, you usually get better results. What do you think you can change to get better results when the zones are far away?
I feel like that's not the thing, just because where the zones go, it's about us. We need to wait for a weakness to the teams and take advantage of it. We weren't punishing teams as much as we should be, and that was the problem. We fixed it this game, and you could see the results.
Okay, and congratulations for this top 2. I hope you get better results. Thank you.
Love that guy. Always smiling, always good attitude. Juancho saying that they need to start punishing teams. And they did that game, and you could see the results. They just let their guard down towards the end. You could hear him call out the Higor saying, we need to lock down that left side. I agree completely. We were talking on the break about how Wolves, if they would just lock down that left flank, there was no angle from the building for them to even be hit from anywhere. But they just let their guard down, got a little bit sloppy on the push. And man, they paid for it. But it looks like they still have good spirits about them, and they're trying to run it back this game and see if they can make those corrections where they were needed. What'd you think of that interview, Seven?
Perfect example of what I was talking about in regards to the mindset is going to be shifting a little bit for now for this squad, especially where they're going to be in the overall. They go from being hunted to now becoming the hunters, wanting to punish, wanting to showcase that, okay, if you come near us, we will defend our ground. We will make you back off. And that's what I'm hoping they continue on. It just comes down to making sure they get themselves into those later situations, getting comfortable, because Enigma, we can say, yeah, these players have been in this situation before, but it does take time to adjust to now this different lobby, this different players, this different roles from different players as well in different teams, that now the more experience that you get there towards the later of the match, you're going to know, okay, let's not rush in like we did that last time against Loops.
Yeah, and it's all about them try-harding. Started the day, Juancho being the go-to interview guy for that squad, saying, we're try-harding today. Unfortunately, right at the end, he was able to not just give out an excuse, not even allow himself to fall into the ploy of, now we perform better when it's closer to the zone. No, we just weren't punishing teams. He made sure that his mindset was as clear as all the fans want to hear it of, we aren't giving excuses. This is our thought process. This is the changes we're making. And just like you said, PB, we want to see the punishing squad of Wolves. We don't want to see them sitting back and waiting like the rest of the NA teams have done so far. We need someone to be able to apply pressure to these Brazilian teams.
All right, well, we're just about ready to hop into our next game. If we have time, we'd love to take a peek at the overall standings just really quickly to see the stage and what is set on the table for us this next game. Things have gotten a little bit tighter. Obviously, it's a 4-team race at the top, but it is going to be Wolves sneaking up. Sounds like we're just about ready to drop in, so we'll save that for after the game, and hopefully Wolves can take an even bigger bite into that lead, but they're nipping at the heels of these leaders. And good news for you, we have an Amazon gift card ready for you at home. If you're fast enough to type their code into Amazon.com/redeem, you'll be able to get your goodies.
Yeah, it's good.
So again, getting ready here for our last Erangel of the day. Our predictions are in. Let us know what you think in chat. Who will be taking this game? Will it be one of the top dogs, or will it be one of the strong NA teams that we have seen on the battlegrounds today? Hopefully, they're able to deliver, unlike Wolves was able to last game. Here we go. What are we thinking of the flight path, Seven?
I'm enjoying it. We're going to be getting a bit of a difference here. Alpha 7, you know, more than likely they're going to be going to Georgia. Wolves, where are you going to be going in for exports? Are you going to be having to deal there with Maryland once again? Or are one of these teams going to be conceding that land in Primors? Because you just cannot continue with that fight. It's just not going to end up happening. There you go. Wolves is going to be jumping off. And we were talking about the leaderboard. I kind of want to highlight 14, 15, and 16 place. All teams from NA, straight out in the pile, exports, and VIP esports. This is when they need to turn it up. We really haven't gotten a chance to see much out of exports, and to be completely honest, Enigma, I don't know what kind of difference I want to see out of this team. Earlier I was talking about with Wolves that I wanted to continue to see maybe them just being a little bit more aggressive in regards to if you see a chance to get eliminated. Exports right now, I don't know what could be that fix.
See, and the problem with that as well for Wolves, we're saying we need you not to have solos getting caught out one by one. For X-Force, it's been a multitude of different things, right? Unfortunately, that sort of first zone isn't going to be any favorites for the X-Force boys pulling all the way towards prison. But for X-Force, we're seeing them getting caught on rotations. They're losing players in 1v4 scenarios when they should be keeping all players standing. We're not allowing ourselves to really have any sort of breathing room after fights or even make it into the late game. I'm interested in wondering, maybe someone from production get us that number, but I'm not even sure what the highest placement out of X-Force has been. It must be around maybe that 6th place range, but we're not anywhere close to that top 3, right? The elimination counter as well is not up there where it deserves to be. And this is our partner team. This is a squad that was just next to Wolves, and we were thinking of last split coming into those finals. And unfortunately for X-Force, it's really just a matter of, can we even find our stride at this point? Losing Valak Powerbank, I think there's just too many unknowns with this squad.
I think you're right. X-Force has been struggling for a while, honestly. And if you flash back to Titan Series, it was the same story. I mean, they were the only team out of the North American teams that qualified here not to place in the top 4 in Titan Series. They were quite a bit down the list, if you recall, and it was straight out of Nepal and Team Seal, who is now VIP Esports, finishing in that top 4 instead. And those were non-partner teams. So X-Force has got to start figuring things out. They've picked up Klaus, which I think has gone a long way to help the team. But unfortunately, it just hasn't quite clicked just yet. And again, they've got some time to kind of figure things out. But again, with those head start points on the line, you want to secure as many of those as humanly possible. One of the things that I have noticed today, though, besides a few of those NA teams on the bottom, a couple have also shot up. We've got 2 on the first page now, with Inco Gaming in 8th. And the Wolves occupying 5th. So some NA teams on the move. That will basically fill out that first page. Other than that, it is all Brazil 7.
Yeah, and for Inco, I'm going to be looking at them to close out this last Erangel in a big way, because when we go back and look at the performance that they were able to put up yesterday in Miramar, it was non-existent, boys. They ended up with 16th place finish on both of the matches, and at least on the second match, they secured 1 elimination, but that's just not going to be able to cut it for this squad. I want to see a little bit more consistency. So a good finish here in this Erangel and set some kind of momentum going into those Miramar matches, because we have seen teams being able to fully switch it around, as Wolves wanting to see if they could maybe snipe somebody out from 9C. They were not able to 9C, just trying to gather where they're going to be going here with this circle, and we're going to be getting an Eastern circle. So for those teams that end up landing towards the west, like X-Force, like Row, Alpha 7, Intense Game, Maryland, all of those teams, what kind of rotation are you going to be doing? Are you going to be going for that late rotation, or are you going to be going for a quick rotation, Enigma?
I think you go for a late rotation, allow these other teams to just fill in the center, allow them to kind of just be able to get off-angled like we'd seen so many times in previous matches today. And for the most part, seeing SON, obviously this is their drop spot towards military power, but 9Z, Resilience, even Jaguar making a super early rotation. This is almost like a milli zone kind of rotation we're seeing, where you're looting one building, vest, helmet, hopefully some meds and a bandage, and you're going to the zone. So interested in seeing how many teams try to adopt that sort of mindset moving forward. One squad that definitely is not going anywhere towards the center of the circle. VIP going all the way up towards almost Stalber and the Kameshki area. Run into a team like Maryland, some wide rotations coming through from squads, but also, of course, the name and boys we've actually loved to see in a squad that I wanted to see more of, Team Liquid, but Powerbang, we're seeing a fight right off rip with the NA boys.
Right off rip is right. Vitali shot in the back from Cardi across the compound. Inco down to 2 players right now, down to 1, and this is looking bit sketchy right now. McGrellan is going to try to make something happen. Molina goes down, so we got 1, and it's United 4 Gaming rolling up on the third party, trying to take advantage. That is another squad that is on the move. United 4 way down in 14th to start the day. They're up to 8th at this moment in time, and it looks like they are about to crash and fully send it here. They can lick up the scraps right now. Different squads. United 4 looking to make moves in this game.
They've been able to put up some eliminations in the past. They're currently right now up to 2 elims. There you go. Inco is going to be out. We were hyping them up. I wanted to see something out of you, Inco, here in this last Erangel, but it's not going to be happening. And now Resilience is also wanting to get into the action here. This team already up to 5 eliminations. United wanting to stop that track, but it could be a bit of a standoff here. Who's going to be the first one knocked? Resilience having 1 less player, I believe, than United 4 Gaming. Actually, they're both at a 3 apiece. We'll see which team will be striking first and which one will be actually wanting to make this push. As this compound, honestly, whoever ends up getting it is going to give them a great time, especially with the circle. And they could possibly end up getting blessed by the circle as well. Enigma, as United 4 Gaming getting caught off guard there. Resilience finally spotting somebody from United 4 Gaming.
Yeah, and that's Cardi again, already having 3 eliminations to his name, opening it up every single fight at this compound. This building is just his, the off angle to say the least. And for Resilience, you're wanting to make sure that this fight is going to finish soon, because all these other teams are starting to rotate, but you walking into the nades off the wall, that's not how you wanted to do it, as well as Cardi as well now, getting caught on the off angle. So we have just one player of Resilience left standing, United 4 Gaming as well, trying to get the reset, but you see in the distance, the Severny squad, they rotated in early power bang. They're now looking for the third party, and the issue is with all these smokes, you're telling people where that fight's happening.
Yeah, definitely no secret as to what's going on here. Resilience down to their last man, still driving around. We got looks like Maryland circling on the outskirts right now, trying to figure out what is happening here. What will be the case if we decide to dive in on this? So far, staying away, and you know, interestingly enough, we are about to see a nice little finish here. Resilience out in 15th. They pick up 5 eliminations, though, before they go, so not going completely empty-handed. And now Maryland deciding, you know what? Let's keep it going. We're going to send it on United 4. This is a chance for United 4 to make some big strides up that leaderboard again. Already 5. What I want to know, though, is what is VIP doing way up in the north? They actually had this position and went this way, and they got lapped up by Maryland, by Alpha 7, shortly by Intense Game. They just completely gave up their position as we watch the end of this fight. Maryland going at it with United 4. United 4 is holding strong, 7.
Yeah, and I think with VIP, they know that some of those teams end up going there towards the south. Maybe they were a little bit scared to get into a fight. Now Maryland with just one player left alive. You boys trying to spot that player there from United for Gaming, but it's not going to be enough. Maryland, once again, continuing on a bit of a drop-off of a performance here, as now Alpha 7 out of all teams, United for Gaming is saying, please, boys, give us a break here. Carrillo connecting with one of those nades, and the other name might end up connecting as well. Is just hate being able to be the last one alive. Is he gonna survive here? Can he do something with the shotgun, with the smokes that he has at hand? Because you know Alpha 7 is gonna be looking to close it out as the grenades just continue to pepper in, and this man is trying to find something for him, and it's not gonna be able to. United for Gaming eliminated, but honestly, I'm happy with the performance this team put up. They put up 9 eliminations, Enigma.
Not even 10 minutes into the game, just showing the stage 2 circle shifts happening, and I really felt bad because if it was any other team other than Alpha 7, I'd say, okay, yeah, we just saw 2 teams butcher in the compound. We might be able to see a 3-man clutch come out, but as soon as the names came in, I mean, dimes right off the foreheads, off the walls. Might as well call it a bank shot. Just Alpha 7 just dismembering these squads right now. And I keep loving that term. I don't know why, but for this team right now, the team that has the only point total into the triple-digit range, you don't want them to continue having this momentum, and it hasn't slowed down. We're halfway through, and we wanted other teams to pop off. Luckily, Loops is being the team that's able to do just that, PB, but it's against Team Liquid, another team that I want to see perform well.
These are bitter rivals, man. These two teams have gone against each other head-to-head for so long now, and it feel like it's a pendulum here. One team has the upper hand, one split, and then it seems to switch to the other. And right now, Team Liquid having to battle a bit uphill there. Kioski doing a nice little jig to avoid some of those finishing shots of the shotgun, but his fate was sealed when he got knocked. Team Liquid down a man, and Loops finally putting another elim on the board. They get 1 point closer to Intense Game, as they are getting primed to pass them up in the standings. That's the first major shift that we will have seen in quite some time at the top of the tables. Alpha 7 adding just a little bit more cushion so far, and you're absolutely right on that compound push from Alpha 7. You know, show me, don't tell me how to push a compound. These guys were hitting the bank shots, hitting the headshots through the windows. I mean, just really, really impressive stuff from Alpha 7. They clearly know how to breach that type of a compound 7.
Yeah, they definitely do. And look at the split that they're currently working with there on the right side. 1-1-1 split. If that doesn't ooze confidence from the team, I don't know what does, honestly, because they're just trying to find an opening to any squad. They're making sure that they get a little bit closer towards the center of the circle. And I actually enjoy this improvement that this team is doing, because that's something that they struggle during the global event at PMWC. Now here, given Pmsl Americas, they do get a little bit more freedom. They get to test out different strats, especially sitting in first place at the moment. 3 elims going their way, And we know, PB, that when we end up going to Miramar, based on what we saw yesterday, we will end up seeing those Brazil teams there towards the top. And something you don't want to see, PB, is X-Force players getting eliminated this early on.
No, we don't. We were definitely looking it up. Enigma, you had asked about the top placement of X-Force.
Yeah.
They've finished as high as 5th so far. Okay. And that is not what we were kind of hoping for. They're actually the lowest top finishing team of anyone. Everybody in the lobby has finished at least 4th place or better. The only team that has not climbed to those heights is X-Force. And they're going to try to do it without 24K here. But Enigma, you're absolutely right. The X-Force crew so far leaving a lot to be desired.
Yeah, and unfortunate as well, seeing how 24Ks is getting knocked and eliminated here, Carnage would be turning in his grave if he was seeing these matches, because we're standing on a flat. We're not paying attention to the backside we just rotated from. We're just standing in the open, waiting with a bullseye on our back saying, hey, shoot me. You're going to be able to get the thirst. And obviously, intense game, they're able to do just that. So hopefully this squad, they maybe will be able to get some sort of zone pulled down towards Milton. Maybe not a full center, so they don't get full slam crashed as a 3-man, but nonetheless a team that has actually been holding a lot of splits. We didn't get to make mention of it just yet, but Wolves finally condensing down towards the center spot, having to deal with Team Liquid getting shots down. But fortunately enough for the Wolves here, it looks like Kayowski was finished off on rotation. So interesting enough, I do believe this is going to simmer down a little bit, but I'm more worried about a lot of these teams here, Seven, about this next circle shift coming.
I'm liking what I'm seeing, boys, in regards to those teams 6th place, 7th place, 9th place, and 10th place being eliminated. Hopefully, we'll see what's going to happen there towards the top. But now towards those teams towards the bottom, this is your chance to try to close that gap. But I'm with you as well. I'm a little bit worried with what might be happening in regards to rotations. We saw how much space earlier Alpha 7 was being able to collect. We're also seeing VIP and X-Force very close to each other, but they need to watch out because Intense game is very close. And we know, PB, this Brazilian squads want to third party. So in this situation, are we once again in an influence rage in 9C situation where they have to be good neighbors?
Maybe. I feel like Influence Rage has a ton of control, top of the zone. You got Intense Game in the compound down there. I think Intense Game can take that fight, X-Force and VIP, both at the same time.
I'm in top 5.
They're going to be patient, though. Wait for that circle shift. It does go a bit north, so they're going to have to move out as well. X-Force making the quick dive. Oh, brother. We hit. Oh, that's not what he was shooting for there. He's trying to establish a beachhead here. Fate's going to have to stop maybe a bit earlier than he would like at this shack. Hit a bit of debris in the field. Not what he was hoping for, but the rest of the squad may have to retreat for cover. And they do just that, at least for now. Alim gonna go try to join up with Fate now that the smokes are out. And nice little pull up, but blocks himself from the doorway. X-Force has a nice little spot in the zone, but not the full squad. So this is an interesting play. We got a little split going on. Enigma, do you think they can hold off IG? We've also got Wolves up the hill looking down. 12 teams left. X-Force doing what they can here.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, going for that 2-man play into the center is really just praying for the zone gods of PUBG, saying, please, what's in the next circle shift. Unfortunately, Klaus being left behind, having the 3-man of VIP as well as an intense game squad still falling behind them. So I do believe they will be able to hold on at least another zone or two, maybe only being able to stay as a duo, seeing if Klaus has a vehicle or not, being able to rotate with the squad. But a lot of these teams now starting to inch forward. Influence Rage had to spread up onto that northeastern side towards the water's edge of Milton Power, being able to get a free rotation. But one squad that I'm seeing is going to have to start moving in. We haven't made mention of it yet. 9Z coming right into Alpha 7 on this eastern edge. And there is a compound potentially 9Z right as scouting right now could potentially get into, but you got to deal with Alpha 7, and as a squad that has been so aggressive off Year 7, I'm really worried for 9Z and even being able to get into this next circle.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tougher there, considering that they're going to be going on up against Alpha 7. They might try to go a little bit south for a different rotation. The good thing that they're doing here that sometimes squads don't tend to do is scout. You got to take time and make sure you do that scouting. They were able to do that. I don't think that they're considering that this is just not going to be a favorable fight for them and maybe wanting to back off to the point that Colgoat's even going to be willing to just take some of that blue zone damage and see where else they could possibly rotate. Meanwhile, we're going to be switching over to Jaguar, a team that was able to put up a great performance yesterday, but so far today, it has not been working out. And now Row Esports connecting with one of their players. They're closing up for that range of the grenades, and they're going to start raining down. Who's going to be the next one connecting with them? That player from Jaguar is not going to get picked up right away, but Row getting one of the players knocked as well, trying to go for an off angle, and he might have just been able to find it as he's going to, Potro just barely surviving there, Enigma, the push from Demeanor.
Yeah, I was a little worried actually going for the shots immediately out of the buggy, but nonetheless getting the damage down and getting players knocked now. M2M, the player that's been winning those 1v1 engagements all day yesterday, now getting put down in the grass. And for Row, they did lose David, unfortunately, to the zone, to the bleed out from the pressure of Jaguar. But now 0-3, man, you got to deal with getting these eliminations yourself. Do not allow Jaguar to reset. There's so many points on the line, and this is a team, we made mention of it yesterday, first win of the tournament, then slowly crumbling throughout the days, and unfortunately today being the same trend. So for Royals of War, you're definitely a squad that's wanting to get that sort of motion your way, get the gears turning the way you want. And with the circle shift, unfortunately with them losing a player, it makes it that much harder here, PB, to be able to work into this next circle.
Yeah, that was a wild play for me. Jaguar actually left the safety of the zone to go out of the circle and attack Royals of War, only to be immediately mowed down. I don't know. It was an interesting play. Royals of War, you know, getting a few players taken down. Splat and M2M, both the best and the weakest player on the roster, going down for Jaguar, and then Royals of War just leaves. They're like, we're going to go prioritize zone at this point. So now we've got Alpha 7 being challenged by Influence Rage. These are your top two teams in the lobby. Alpha 7 taking no time to thin out the herd here. Half of Influence Rage's squad gone. And now we see 9Z rolling up from the back. We'll see if they can get into the circle. They're still just outside the border. They've got a little work to do if they want to find some safety.
9C might have been able to find that opening that they needed to find as Alpha 7. Looking at pressure, not only just from Influence Rage, from Loops as well. Earlier, they had a knock, able to recover that player. Alpha 7 up to 5 eliminations so far. And in this one, I'm happy to see Korea currently sitting at 2 there. But for 9C, did you maybe pull a little bit too fast? Because they're going to start going down, as VIP is also going to start going down to Wolves Esports. Great positioning here from this squad, having the high ground, and on top of that, having Jaguar very close to them, and making sure they make everybody back off. And that's that mentality change right there, Enigma. Making sure that they become the hunters, making sure that everybody backs off, and that's what we want to see out of Wolves Esports. Let your gunplay shine.
Yeah, and for the most part, the first two zones, they had a split here and up northwest across the roadside, trying to just gamble on one of the two spots being in the circle. And yeah, you're not in the center spot, but sometimes it's better to be on the edge of these late games because you're allowed to make moves like this. Two players actually rotating up towards the Team Liquid trio. No helmet to his name, so really just 2 or 3 bullets to him, being able to potentially get the knock. But if you're Wolves Esports fan, you want to see this 4-man stay alive at least through stage 6. You cannot allow yourself to lose players taking out Jaguar, to lose players from the X4 split. Unfortunately enough, with the Wolf squad, Coops does have as well as the rest of the team trying to get damage down for the rest of the lobby. But my concerns is going to be, PB, we're still talking top 10 in the lobby. 10 teams remaining, 2 out now, 0 placement points, and desperately, especially those 14th, 15th, 16th spots, you got to make it in that top 5.
Oh, you got to. Igor's with a nade. Will it connect? It does. Potro goes down. Now the Jaguar squad is truly on the ropes. You're going to see some follow-ups from Juanchito. Here comes the nade. Will it land deep from Coops as well? It chunks him, but still surviving is Carlin God. And now he's down. The white comes in from the backside X-Force, getting the finish there. But Wolves and X-Force split the points. And look at this zone. There is no one in it. Absolutely bare is this circle. Everyone on the outside looking in. But you've got Wolves, Alpha 7, and Team Liquid with control right now. This is a really interesting zone, 7.
It will be interesting. Absolutely nobody there towards the center of that circle. There's going to be so much terrain to work with and to not work with, depending on where your team is going to get those eliminations. 4 players left alive. Loops Esports trying to fend off there against 9C, being able to spot Remix. Remix is going to be going down, and Rafinha having to slow it down there a little bit, as he is going to have to heal up. The grenades are going to be coming through. Rattle Boy is going to hold off against Colgold. He barely has him at 2 HP. Can he actually finish it off before the rest of the squad joins up? And he is going to get that knock. Now they're going to have to fend off against even more players. And where's the rest of the players here from Loops Esports? Give your players some support. Meanwhile, Rattle Boy just looking to do it all by himself, PB.
What's happening? I mean, people are getting third party and fourth party. This is crazy. What about those plays from Rattle Boy there on the push? He's able to hold off a charging squad before ultimately going down to the third party. Really impressive stuff from Loops. And they're on their last little member here right now. It's not looking good for them, but man, what an impressive game. And it's Alpha 7 crashing now to try to get things done. They're going to regroup because Straight Outta Nepal is getting into it with them as well. Alpha 7, full squad, 8 eliminations, and things are absolutely chaotic right now, Enigma.
Yeah, and the north side completely cleared out. All 3 of those squads fighting Mitten actually ended up in a 1v1 scenario of all things against the Team Liquid solo going for the revive. So nice plays out of them, but it's not just the north side unraveling. The south side here, SO1, they've sat pretty all game, and they're only good for 1. Onto the influence rage players. A solo now holding the south side, and Alpha 7 knows the situation. We've got 8 elims for a reason here, 7. We know you're down to just a solo. We're going for the elimination, and now we're talking top 4 situation.
And you know Alpha 7 was not going to let off the gas right there, especially going up against Influence Rage. You said it, top 4. And it's going to be none other than 2 teams from Brazil and 2 teams from North America. One team that we wanted to see step it up, Exports, even though they currently have 2 players left alive, finding themselves in this kind of situation is where we want to continue to see Exports. And Wolves Esports, back-to-back games, boys, where this team is able to keep the 4 players alive. And you can see now it's not just Dorian and Coops. Igor, you were mentioning him earlier, PB, putting up points for the squad.
They're stepping up, and good news for Wolves is they get a chance of redemption here. Not only will they get another crack at Alpha 7, but they've got 2 short-handed squads that they cannot let their guard down against as well. X-Force, though, getting into the top 4 for the first time all tournament long. You can't say that they haven't been in the top 4 now. Every team has at this point, and Alpha 7 takes control of this final zone. Wolves, for the 2nd game in a row, are here as well, and I gotta say, Wolves are making a dent on the lead that some of these teams have. The only shame is that 2 of the teams alive, Loops and Alpha 7, are ahead of them in the standings, so they're not able to close a bunch of ground on them. So it's incredibly important they pick up those wins. Loops goes out to the nades of Alpha 7. I don't know. The momentum at this point, 7, might be too much for the Wolves to stop.
It could end up being too much, but now Wolves have been in this situation before. They know that they have to play it calm. And the thing, too, is that they don't have to be the aggressors in this moment. Alpha 7 is going to become that more aggressive team. Export is just going to be winning it out here. And honestly, Exports, I don't know how you're going to end up getting out of this, because not only are you going to have players from Wolves Esports looking at you, you're also going to have players from Alpha 7. If anything, this could be a distraction for Wolves Esports to find an opening on Alpha 7. But all of this is easier said than done. Alpha 7 up to 10 eliminations. You can see how spread out they currently are. Meanwhile, Wolves playing it a little bit safer, working with a 2-2 split where they can at least end up regrouping. The vehicles are going to be coming in there for Wolves Esports as well, focusing more on what the circle is going to have to give and just laying out Exports and hoping that Alpha 7 is just going to end up taking care of this team, especially when they move up closer and closer. This is going to be a great fight between Alpha 7 and Wolves Esports.
Yeah, and I'm really just wondering how long it's going to take for X-Force to get cleared out, because there is that possibility, right, of maybe one of the Alpha 7 players getting knocked, but they've got the experience underway. The nades, right as I say it, of course, Powerbang, they're laying down the Reign of Terror, and Alem actually trying to make the mad dash in. This is the only play you have. I was honestly thinking they were going to go out to the blue zone and allow the 4v4 to take place, but right after this, my question mark has got to be, what does Wolves decide to do? You understand now Alpha 7 is completely split. Do you try to go for the fight, and instead, no actions being made, PB, they're waiting for the next circle?
Revo with a couple more eliminations. The stop is up to 726 damage this game. I don't know what to say, man. The Revo train has left the station, and everyone else better watch out. But now we're in for a treat. It's the Wolves versus A7, the region's top team from either region, and this is going to be an interesting fight. The Wolves crash. It's Doran coming on in with Wancho right behind. Revo's gonna have to fall back. He's got patience. He sees Wancho, gets the opening knock. Revo's gonna go crazy here.
Oh
no! Beautiful nade from Doran.
Yeah, now we're seeing the off angles come through. Coops actually stayed up the mountaintop, not even rotating with the squad, going the 1-for-1. And if I'm Wolves, having Wancho down, I'm honestly debating on getting the reset. Have your third teammate overwatch Coops, and I don't even think they realized Gazal is still a player up here. He actually looked like he rotated completely around the north side here, and unfortunately for the Wolves, I feel 7, they have no idea he's here. If he's good for 1, maybe 2 knocks, the Wolves could be dismantled again. 2 games in a row, but the thirst comes through. 3v3 situation. If they can get Juancho up, they've got the man advantage.
Fool me once, fool me twice. It's not gonna happen again, Wolves. Okay, you're playing this a lot slower. You're kind of keeping track of where everybody's at too, and they're making sure that they eliminate those players to stop Alpha 7 from just getting intel on them. Coops keeping an eye out on everybody. He's gonna be hearing that car, that vehicle coming in. Mafioso closing in the gap towards them, and now Wolves having to go on the offense. They're gonna have to keep an eye on Gisal, because Gisal's gonna get pushed there by the blue zone. The nades are gonna be coming in. Dory being able to find one there with the nade. Now Mafioso being the last one alive for Alpha 7. Can he do it? Coops is going to end up going down. It's going to come down to a 3 versus 1. We've seen it in the past happen. We've seen players being able to clutch up this. And right now, where Mafioso is at, he's thinking about maybe going for that revive. But Coops and the rest of the squad there for Wolves is not giving him any chance. The grenades are going to be coming in. Can Mafioso end up connecting? Great Molotov there by Wolves Esports, wanting to go for the offense. And you got to make sure you close up this gap as Wolves is wanting to finish it off with the win. And they finally get their first win after a bad performance in the last one. It doesn't even matter because they're able to secure it and they're able to back it up with those eliminations. Look at Eagle right there, happy. Coop's gonna be calm, cool, and collected, and Juancho's just like, yeah, we do this.
Let's go, boys. That was a heads-up fight against the top dogs in North America. Comes out on top, and I love the fact that they pushed the initiative. They had Mafioso down by his lonesome. If they had hesitated, if they did not push that at the very end, Mafioso gets that revive, and it's a whole different fight at that point. They lost their point man in Coops. Coops was holding that rock with great shots from up the hill, but man, what a great game from the Wolves. They got it done. And man, I gotta feel like that momentum started to build.
Watchparty, thank you. शुद्ध है होता बाकायदा सीन है कि नहीं आवाज सिद्धि सही हो अघि निन्द लाग्यो भन्दा चाहिँ हजुर भन ल भन न भन